Baltimore. Welcome to Baltimore. It is a city on fire for postseason baseball. They haven't had an ALCS game here since 1997, but that all changes tonight as the Orioles play host to the Kansas City Royals. Game 1 of the American League Championship Series here on TBS. Good evening, everybody. I'm Ernie Johnson. Welcome back to postseason baseball here on TBS. What a contrast in styles between these two teams. With the Orioles, it's all about power. They lead baseball in home runs, fewest stolen bases. The Royals manufacture runs, lead in stolen bases, fewest home runs. You could call Kansas City architects. You could call Baltimore a demolition crew. Cannot wait to see how this series plays out in a best-of-7. And Ron Darling will be here with me, the all-star right-hander, and of course, the Iron Man, Cal Ripken. Is it just me, or are you very popular in this city? I think it's true. Hey, look, complete the sentence for me. The Orioles win this series if...
Well, number one, they have to call on their power. They did lead the major leagues in home runs with 211, and they score 47% of their runs, nearly half of their runs via the home run, led by Nelson Cruz. Here's J.J. Hardy going deep to left field. And then Nick Markakis, who's playing in his first playoff game, goes deep here to right field. Now, these home runs are probably going to have to come off the starters because the relievers don't give up any home runs, which brings me to the second point. They have to win the first 6 innings. Kansas City has a shutdown bullpen, so they'll shorten the ball game. And the last thing they have to do is control the running game. They don't have to shut it down. They have to control it. Don't let Kansas City start running reckless. And by and large, the Orioles do a good job of doing that. Tillman, by the way, has only given up 2 stolen bases in the last 2 years.
Baltimore gets here after sweeping the Detroit Tigers. Kansas City gets here after winning the wild card game, sweeping the Angels, who had the best record in baseball. It's been a magical ride so far. They win the series, Ron,
if their corner infielders stay hot in the postseason. We've heard everything about their speed, their great starting pitching, their shutdown bullpen, their defense that loves to flash the leather, especially in the outfield. But when you think about these 2 cornerstone infielders, both #1 picks and back-to-back years, this success was supposed to come quicker. Okay, it hasn't, but now it has, and they're as hot as anyone in the postseason. If they stay that hot, they win the ALCS.
James Shields gets the ball for the Royals. Chris Tillman gets it for the Orioles. Y'all ready? We are too. The first pitch right around the bend.
This 2014 ALCS telecast on TBS is brought to you by Viagra, by T-Mobile, by your next truck, Ford F-150, and by HP.
Oriole Park at Camden Yards. The American League Championship Series here on TBS. Cool fall night. Rain in the forecast, hoping that the heavy stuff really doesn't come in until late tonight. The forecast did call for rain most of the day, but we really didn't get that. And we've been lucky so far. Going to start this game on time. Orioles are taking the field, and the roar goes up here in Baltimore. Batting order for the Royals, same as you've seen in the 4 previous postseason games this year. Escobar, Aoki, Lorenzo Cain in the 3. Eric Hosmer is the cleanup hitter, hitting .500 in the postseason. Billy Butler is the DH, hitting 5th, and it's Alex Gordon. Salvador Perez is the catcher. Omar Infante bats 8th and plays second base. Mike Moustakas, you heard Ron Darling talk about him and his importance to this as one of those cornerstones for the Royals, and he bats 9th against Chris Tillman.
Chris Tillman's second postseason start. Think of it this way. He's the poor man's version of James Shields. Not in poor as far as result. Poor as in his paycheck. He's a young version of him, made over 30 starts, made over 200 innings, and he's become a #1 starter for this Orioles team.
13-6 mark, ERA 3.34. And let's go through the Oriole defense.
Okay, we got Alexander the Alza playing left field. Adam Jones with his 3 Gold Gloves in center. Nick Markakis enjoying his first action in the postseason. Hardy and Scope up the middle. Flaherty and Steve Pierce on the corners. We have Nick Hundley behind the plate, and on the mound is Chris Tillman.
So we've got 2 teams here perfect in the postseason. A sweep of the Tigers and 3 Cy Young winners for Baltimore. And you've got the Kansas City Royals dispatching the Angels after winning the wild card game over Oakland. Tim Timmons will call balls and strikes tonight. Marvin Hudson at first, Joe West the crew chief at second. Ron Culpa makes the calls at third, and down the lines Mark Wegner and Brian Gorman. Alcides Escobar will lead it off. Kansas City Royals only hit 198 as a team against the Angels, yet still swept them.
They got some big timely hits, and they hit a couple big home runs. So they do a little bit more than just steal bases.
If you haven't seen Chris Tillman pitch, he's got a good fastball. During the season, it was around 90 to 91. First start against Detroit, 94 to 95. He's found a little extra in October. Good overhand curveball, good changeup, and he holds runners on extremely well.
Along the way tonight, you'll be hearing from Matt Weiner and Mike Bordick from Masson, their color analyst covering the Orioles, and also Steve Physiok, radio and TV voice for the Kansas City Royals, with their perspective as the night goes on. And they're trying to get the attention. I guess, you know, we'll own this. Our studio pregame show, the lights are still on out there, so they would really like to have them off.
It looks like
Pedro is soaking up the moment.
I think Pedro and Sheffield are taking bows out there. Shut the lights off, bros.
Have a couple more lights. Let's see if we're going to. Still waiting.
Hitters can be so finicky requesting that there's no lights in the background.
There hasn't been this long of a delay in a postseason game since last year when we had the stare-off.
The national anthem. St. Louis and the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Tim Timmons has come out and said, look, those lights got to go.
And being serious here, it's not fun. Here's Tillman out there ready to go. He's loose. He's asking the umpire now he can make a few extra throws. Any of this kind of stuff when you're raring to go is not a good thing.
Well, they got one of those lights taken care of. Somebody get word to Pedro, go unplug wherever that light is plugged in, unplug it, and let's go.
I always knew Pedro had an aura about him, but I mean, this is crazy.
Thank you, guys. Here we go. Fans here have been ready to scream all day. They did it when the tarp was taken off. They did it during intros, and they've done it now that we're actually ready to go.
6 more warm-up pitches by Tillman there. That's something that's out of his routine.
Tillman is 26 years old. Made his first ever big league start against the Royals. This is now his biggest big league start. And he throws a strike to Alcides Escobar, 0-1.
It's very unusual to watch Tillman. Before he goes into his windup, it almost looks like he's in the stretch. So he's already sideways on the mound, makes one step back, and goes.
Quickly ahead, 0-2.
The windup sometimes is to develop momentum as you go and kind of get your body behind it. Very small movements, very controlled movements, and that helped him with his control.
Escobar just 3 for 14 against the Angels with 5 strikeouts. To center field, Adam Jones, 1 down. As I pointed out, Mike Bordick going to be with us during this series. And Mike, what you got on the Orioles side of thing tonight?
Well, I'll tell you what, they're going to have to control the running game, and there's going to be 3 keys to really look at. How the Orioles infield take throws. They all taught to straddle the bag, let that ball travel deep. You're going to look at the catchers. They set up quickly. Right when they see a guy make a stolen base attempt, you're going to see their feet start moving, and the pitchers are quick to the plate. Back when Buck Showalter came aboard, he made an organizational mandate. You better be 1.30 or quicker, or you will not pitch for him in the big leagues.
All right, thank you very much for the insight, Mike. Appreciate that. One of your old guys there, Cal, Mike Bordick.
Good old teammate.
Nori Aoki, Kansas City right fielder. Easy play at first for Steve Pearce. 2 up and 2 down. We talk about the differences in these teams in terms of home runs and stolen bases. There are similarities. Pitching staffs, outstanding for both. Fan bases, outstanding for both. And just soaking in a return to the ALCS for the Orioles, who made the playoffs in 2012, and the Royals, who haven't been since '85. Here's Lorenzo Cain. Cain was just 2 for 13 in the ALDS, but really made his mark with his glove. 2 sensational catches back-to-back in the clincher. A .301 hitter in the regular season. Good for number 8 in the American League. That's foul. 0-2.
Have you noticed, Cal, multiple signs with no one on base? Everyone gets a little paranoid in October.
But sometimes they change the 1 from being a fastball to 2 being a fastball just for the same paranoia. You never know who's looking or who's relaying signs, but I can't imagine where they are here.
I'm not going to tell anyone.
Off speed, dribbler up toward third, and that'll be an infield hit for Lorenzo Cain.
Well, it wasn't hit extremely hard. He smothers this breaking ball down the third baseline. It's probably a hit for most people in the league, but it's definitely a hit for Cain coming out of the box. Flaherty has no chance, knows when to put it in his pocket.
I don't know if you can describe this as one of the strengths of your team, but 158 infield hits by the Kansas City Royals this year.
You'll get him from Escobar, you'll get him from Aoki, you'll get him from Cain, as you just did. And here's Eric Hosmer. Cleanup hitter who went deep a couple of times in the LDS. Cain stole 28 out of 33 in the regular season. Up and away, 1-0.
But you see how quick Tillman was to the plate there. In the last 2 seasons, the opponents have only gone 2 for 13 in stolen base attempts. Now, 13 is not a heck of a lot of attempts, but only 2 successful stolen bases. So he knows what to do, and he knows how to give the catcher a chance.
Hosmer hit 400 in the Angels series, 500 for the postseason, 7 out of 14, and has knocked in 5 runs. Throw over, and Cain back easily.
Hundley, on the other hand, does not throw as well as Caleb Joseph, but Hundley's ERA is almost half that of when Tillman pitches to Caleb Joseph. Joseph is the better thrower.
It's kind of, you have a decision to make here. Do I go with my hot hitter and let him have a chance to make an out-on play? Do I take a chance on stealing the base and getting the scoring position?
The 1-0. Missed inside and low. 2 balls and no strikes.
That's what you talked about, Cal, being quick to the plate, but you can't give up, making sure you work against the hitter and get ahead of these hitters. That's as simple as it gets, and that's why there's only been 13 stolen base attempts in the last 413 innings, 2 seasons against Tillman.
He's used to being quick to the plate, though, so it shouldn't affect his velocity, shouldn't affect his control. That's what he normally does.
Tillman looks him back. And Cain made 1 move back toward the bag and then resumed his lead. Kane, a guy who said he was running on fumes yesterday because his wife gave birth to a baby, and he went to Oklahoma to be with her. Ready to go here in game 1 of the ALCS. Two balls and one strike. Tim Timmons with the call behind the plate.
You got the benefit of a high strike right there, borderline high. He pitches very well up in the strike zone. Got good size on the mound. Sometimes the angle on the low pitch gives the hitters a problem, but he also has the ability to pitch up in that strike zone.
Ran it inside and missed. 3 balls and 1 strike. Hitters count to a red-hot hitter in Eric Hosmer. Billy Butler waiting on deck.
What we've seen in the postseason, though, you can't simply, when you're behind Hosmer, go for the outside corner. He has the ability to hit the ball over the left center field wall.
Good power to the opposite field. Watch him in BP. He regularly goes out to left center field and center field.
Huge cut, came up empty, 3-2.
From a hitter's perspective, he was so hot, you don't want any off days. You don't want to wait 4 or maybe 5 days in which you get another at bat. It's not so simple just to pick up where you left off.
Kane will get a running start at first on the 3-2 pitch. There he goes. Here's the pitch, fouled straight back.
Something we saw from Hosmer in the wild card game in the division series. Doesn't get cheated up there. Has a vicious cut at anything he likes.
Huge opposite field triple in that wild card game. And a ball that he just pummeled to right against the Angels in game 2. There goes Kane. Hosmer goes down swinging. We're heading to the bottom of the first in raucous Baltimore. Baltimore coming to the plate in the bottom half of the first inning to face James Shields. And here's the batting order for Baltimore. Nick Markakis leads it off in right field. Alejandro Diaz is the left fielder. Then Adam Jones, Nelson Cruz, so dangerous in the cleanup spot. Steve Pearce, the guy who saved the season. We'll talk about that as this game goes on. Then it's J.J. Hardy, Ryan Flaherty, Nick Hundley is the catcher, and Jonathan Scope is the second baseman batting 9th.
Remember that James Shields cut his teeth in the American League East with the Tampa Bay Rays. Loves pitching at this ballpark where he's 7-2. But in his 2 postseason starts so far this year, he's given up a home run in the first inning in both of those starts.
To that point, on facing the AL East a lot, Nick Markakis has had 71 at-bats against him. He's 21 for 71, 296 with a couple of home runs, and he leads it off for the O's.
Many times those stats don't mean a whole lot because you don't have a big enough record to go from, but that's a big enough record. He sees him very well. He's content hitting the changeup the other way or up the middle, because that's what James Shields does to you. He has you thinking about the 94, 95 mile an hour fastball. When he needs a strike or strike out, it's the changeup.
No balls and 2 strikes. When the Orioles went to the DS 2 years ago, Nick Markakis couldn't play. Had been 7 years in the big leagues, never on the DL, then he went on twice. The second time when he was hit by a pitch by C.C. Sabathia. And Buck Showalter at that time, I don't know who hurt worse at that point, if it was Markakis or if it was Buck Showalter, who wanted so badly for Markakis, a tough guy, to get that feeling for the postseason, but he had to sit it out. That's upstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Nick is such a quiet guy, but he's such a fierce competitor, and he wants to play to get into the playoffs. And he does stick his nose in there against left-handers, and he did it. CC Sabathia, maybe looking for a breaking ball, got hit with that fastball.
Shields nibbled, tried to paint. 3-2.
Close pitch. He runs that fastball. It's got a little run on it, and it might have run off the corner there. Not to Timmons' liking.
Here comes the 3-2 to Markakis. In the air to center field. Lorenzo Cain makes the play for the first out. Now, Steve Fiziak, one of the radio and TV voices for the Kansas City Royals, joining us with some KC perspective tonight. Steve, what you got?
Ernie, I wanted to talk about the Kansas City defense because Kansas City fans saw the 3 best back-to-back-to-back defensive games of the year in the ALDS. In Game 1, it was Aoki and Cain's defense. Game 2, 3 clutch defensive plays. And then Game 3, Cain bailed out James Shields. Now, I was just watching Rusty Kuntz position the outfield defense. He wants Cain to really be aware of right center field. It's 373 here, 393 at the K. He wants Aoki playing back because he comes in much better than he plays the wall. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Steve. You saw Rusty Kuntz there, who is the first base coach and also works with the outfielders and positions the defense. Diaza in foul ground and out of play.
Well, all outfielders should come in and inspect the field in which they're playing in. Their home field, they get used to it. They know the spots where they're playing. But you got to come in. It's not just Fenway Park that you have to really prepare for. It's a ballpark like this one here at Camden Yards that has different angles, balls coming off the fence, different dimensions. And it would help you out a lot if you knew everything you could come up with about the field.
Diaza into left. Alex Gordon drifting back. Plenty of room. 2 down.
Cal, correct me if I'm wrong. I think as outfielders, you also have to be cognizant of what time of year here at Camden Yards. The ball in the middle of August is going to carry a lot different than it will right now in October.
Yeah, in warmer weather, the ball. And this ballpark is a small ballpark dimension-wise. It has a reputation for a lot of home runs. I think it's fair. It used to be open out there, so sometimes the wind currents would play. I'm not aware of the wind currents now with the new building out left center field. But all those things are factors. And in October, generally speaking, the ball doesn't carry as well.
Quickly 2 up and 2 down for James Shields. And here's Adam Jones. 29 home runs, 96 runs batted in the regular season. And he takes 1-0. Didn't do much offensively in the sweep of the Tigers. Only hit 182. Was 2 for 11. Didn't knock in a run. And struck out 3 times. And Shields fooled him there. 1-1.
Well, Shields has got it all. He can cut his fastball. He can ride it or sink it in. The changeup, the slider. Got all 4 pitches.
On the ground to short. Escobar throws across, and it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the first for James Shields. It's the American League Championship Series on TBS. We'll be right back. To get exclusive behind-the-scenes access and expert opinions from the biggest names in sports, check out Behind the Mic, powered by Ford on BleacherReport.com/Behind the Mic. Top half of the second, Billy Butler leads it off against Chris Tillman. Butler 0 for 9 in the division series sweep of the Angels. Did walk 3 times. .1-0 is hard hit into left. Second hit of the night for Kansas City. And Butler's aboard.
Here's a fastball. Looks like it's right down the center of the plate, a little up. Butler hits a nice hard line drive in that hole between short and third. I thought he was swinging the bat pretty well in the other series. Normally, you might see a player that gets jumpy and swings at bad pitches. He had some good at bats, just didn't get any hits.
Alex Gordon led the Royals in home runs and runs batted in the regular season. Oh, 0-1.
We saw Billy Butler steal a base when they played behind him. And you see the Orioles now are not playing behind him. And Billy Butler really is no threat to steal with this short lead.
Gordon had a huge hit in the clincher against the Angels, a bases loaded double. That stayed up 1-1.
Well, the decision whether to hold him on or play behind him gives you a couple extra feet with a pull hitter at home plate. I'm a little surprised that they're choosing to hold him on. You can still play behind him, and then you don't have to worry about getting off or getting up with a pitch to cover that side of the infield.
The 1-1. Grounded foul. Just wide of the Orioles dugout. A ball and 2 strikes.
I agree with you, Cal. I think Pierce should play right behind him, fake to first base a couple of times. That'll really set Billy straight of not taking the base, and then back up with the pitch.
Now they're moving the shift over when the count is in their favor.
One ball, 2 strikes. Butler with a lead at first. Popped up, foul territory, and Hundley gave it a look, but it's in the first row.
We could see a lot of communication going on between Flaherty and J.J. Hardy. And what that communication was about who was going to cover second base. Now, J.J.'s on the other side of second base, which doesn't put him in a position if the ground ball goes to first base or there's a pickoff play over there. So they wanted to make sure they got their signals correct. That's what happens when you start to shift. If you're used to doing it during the regular season, then you have those questions answered. If you start doing something different in the postseason, then you have to make sure you're on the same page.
One, 2 to Gordon. Got him looking. Let's take a second and check in with Matt Weiner. Matt.
Hey, EJ, important to remember for the Orioles, they made major adjustments defensively and to their lineup with the loss of a third of their preferred lineup over the course of the season. Not just 3 guys, 3 recent All-Stars. Catcher Matt Wieters underwent Tommy John surgery back in June. Third baseman Manny Machado had knee surgery in August. More recently, first baseman Chris Davis, who last season led the majors in homers and RBIs, was suspended 25 games for testing positive for the amphetamine Adderall, as the line drive was caught by Hardy. Now, the end of his suspension would coincide with Game 5 of this series, should it go that far. He is not on the ALCS roster, but it is not inconceivable he could appear. Davis would be eligible for Game 6 or 7 if necessary as an injury replacement. And as for the World Series, Buck Showalter was asked about adding him to the roster should the Orioles qualify, and he said, quote, "We'll revisit it."
All right, thank you very much, Matt. J.J. Hardy climbing the ladder to flag down that line drive from Perez. So a runner at first, 2 down for Omar Infante. Infante, like Butler, hitless in the division series as we take another look at J.J. Hardy timing the leap perfectly, and just a bit of a snow cone in the second out.
Tillman appreciated that play, and good base running by Billy Butler, who stayed close to first on the line drive.
The 0-1 to right center. No sweat for Adam Jones. Leadoff single for the Royals. Can't move it. We head to the bottom half of the second. For all the action in 2015, go to MLB.com/season tickets to reserve your seats today. You heard the cry of Cruz, and the designated hitter and cleanup hitter for the Orioles, Nelson Cruz, steps in to lead off the bottom half of the second.
Never was that word ever more appropriate. Cleanup hitter for these Orioles. Career highs and everything.
Led baseball with 40 home runs, 108 runs batted in, third best in the American League. And there was no drop-off once the playoffs came, because in the division series he hit .500 against the Tigers. 6 out of 12 with 2 home runs and knocked in 5 runs. And against James Shields, he had this long ball.
That pitch was off a changeup that he hit the home run. 2-0 here. He goes after him with the ball off the plate, but Cruz very aggressive.
Sometimes you see Shields really amped up. His fastball's high, 94, 95 early. Seems to me very under control tonight.
Inside with the 2-1. Nelson Cruz ahead in the count. 3 balls and 1 strike.
It's such a fine line when you feed off emotion. He's an emotional pitcher. You can see it out on the mound. But if you let that get a little too high, then you can't execute your pitches.
Ooh, a strike 2. Cruz didn't think so. Had taken a step and a half toward first.
I think that was a good call by Tim Timmons. A cutter on that 3-1 pitch.
I thought first glance it was a pretty good pitch. And even then, didn't look too bad to me.
The payoff. We'll wind it up and do it again.
Like what that cutter does, 3-1, is now puts that thought in the back of your mind. Is he going to throw another cutter? And now that 94-mile-an-hour fastball you wait a little too long on. And he also, in the back of your mind, he has that changeup that he throws any counts.
3-2, grounded up the middle, base hit. First hit for the Orioles. It comes here to lead off the bottom half of the second.
Well, you see the pitch arsenal for Shields this season. You're going to see a lot of change-ups. His breaking ball is usually used to get ahead of a hitter. Loves his fastball also. That's a high amount for a guy who loves his changeup also at 66%.
That's Pitch Tracks presented by Chevrolet.
So in that number, that cutter is also included in the number, because he throws a hard, short slider that could be considered a breaking ball. It looks like that was in the fastball category.
You heard Matt Weiner talk earlier, guys, about the loss of key players like Matt Wieters, Chris Davis, Manny Machado. And then you have the story of Steve Pearce, who has had a tremendous year. 293 with 21 home runs, knocked in 49 runs. This from a guy who bounced all over the place in 2013. He's way out in front. Ball and a strike. But get a load of this. Started with Minnesota, then released in March, signed by the Yankees, purchased by the Orioles in June, waived and claimed by the Astros, purchased by the Yankees, waived and claimed by the Orioles again. All in the course of 1 season in 2012. But he has been huge for this Baltimore lineup.
Made the most of his opportunity, always could hit, always had some power, but didn't seem to get a full opportunity. And sometimes when you do have injuries, it provides the opportunity for someone to get more continued at bats. And all you have to do is catch fire at the right time. And boy, has he.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Cruz with a lead at first. Just missed inside. 2-2.
He's thrown 4 pitches to Pierce. 3 of them have been changeups. It really tells you how good a fastball hitter, how good a slider hitter Pierce has become.
It also says how much confidence he has in his changeup. Changeups aren't necessarily strikeout pitches unless they're forkballs or splitters that really are deceptive. But his changeup is a strikeout pitch.
In the air to center field. And Kane reaches up for the first out.
I'll tell you one thing we've seen a few balls hit on the nose right at the fielder so far in this ball game.
The pitchers seem pretty sharp so far, but the hitters also don't seem to be suffering from the layoff.
Here's J.J. Hardy. Day before this series began, signed a new contract, and he takes a strike.
He's really found a home here in Baltimore. He really likes playing here. They're a competitive team. He's so important. I would say he's underrated, but I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves. He makes all the hard plays look easy, and he's just stable at shortstop.
Popped up. And Moustakas will not have a play. No balls and 2 strikes.
Not a lot of foul territory here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. And, you saw the extension signed by J.J. Hardy. Interestingly enough, that's kind of a hometown discount at 3 years of $40 million. But treated so well here. He loves playing here. It's a park that's suited for him also. Pull hitter with some power.
Hit 25 home runs last year. 9 this year. 52 runs batted in 141 games. And he did homer against the Tigers in the DS. Line drive into left, base hit. Cruz jogs into second. Hardy at first. 2 on with 1 down here in the second.
Cal, you talked about before that James Shields liked to use that high fastball. Both Cruz and J.J. Hardy, though, got on top of that pitch.
Yeah, they got nice short swings to the ball. And so J.J. always seems to be hunting the fastball. If you're going to pitch up there, it's a point that you got to get it up high. Otherwise, it just becomes a real hittable pitch down the middle.
And in steps Orioles third baseman Ryan Flaherty.
If you're James Shields, you got to worry about this first pitch. Flaherty's hitting .442 on the first pitch.
I think Shields knew that number also. Countered with the changeup, but out of the strike zone.
When you know a hitter is very aggressive, changeup is a good pitch, but then again, the first pitch you face a hitter, the changeup might not necessarily, because what are you changing up off of?
1-1. In that Tigers series, the Orioles did major damage with runners in scoring position. They hit .429. Cruz is out there at second. Hardy's at first. And Shields is ahead, a ball and 2 strikes. Flaherty played his college ball at Vanderbilt. Hit .221 this year with 7 home runs, and he knocked in 32. He's behind 1-2. And Shields got him. Big strikeout for James Shields. 2 on and 2 out here in the second.
Here's one of those strikeout changeups. And really, you have to put in the back of your mind, if you're hitting against James Shields and you get him in trouble, guys in scoring position, that's where he's going to go.
I think that pitch is effective, though, because the pitch before was a cutter in on his hands. Each pitch sets up the next.
Rusty Kuntz again positioning the Royal outfielders as Nick Hundley, the number 8 hitter, steps in. He was 0 for 8 in the division series. In fact, Oriole catchers were 0 for 11.
Hundley is a guy who came up with San Diego with much promise. His career has kind of stalled, found some new life here with the O's.
Talked about the Orioles hitting with runners in scoring position. Against Shields now, hitters are 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. And right away, it's no balls and 2 strikes. On the ground, in the hole, Escobar, great stop, long throw, safe at first, bases loaded. How about the play by Escobar at short, Cal?
He shows off his range, catches it, and then might have surprised Hosmer by making a quick release off his knee towards first base. Potential play at second and a potential play at first. Hosmer making sure the ball doesn't get past him to create a run. But what a play.
I think Hosmer got caught watching the play instead of being on first base, waiting for that throw. I don't think they would have gotten him, but it looked like an awkward play there for Eric Hosmer.
So they're loaded for Jonathan Scope, the number 9 hitter. And he waves at the first one, 0-1. Cruz, Hardy, and Hundley are runners. 2 down here in the second. 0-2 to Scope.
Good pitch there, cutter away, and then the fastball he buries on that inside corner. Almost a perfect pitch.
Salvador Perez, the big Kansas City catcher, kept that in front.
Buck Showalter said he's like a big pillow back there when the ball's in the dirt.
Scope's got some pop, 16 homers this season.
Shaking off the fastball, breaking ball, now he's going to the changeup.
2-2. It's 22-year-old Scope, a pretty good find. Non-drafted free agent signed by the Orioles in 2008. Their everyday second baseman. In the air behind second. Infante calling and squeezes it for the final out. The Orioles load the bases, but we're still scoreless as we head to the third.
Mike, I got a mic.
I love you,
I
Hon.
rank with mics.
I love you, Hon.
I love you, Dad. What's up, buddy? Hey, congratulations, man. Well deserved, buddy. Congrats, man.
Eric Hosmer congratulating J.J. Hardy on the contract extension. And wearing the mic again tonight as Mike Moustakas leads it off for Kansas City here in the third. Hosmer wore the mic in Game 2 of the LDS when he hit the home run in the 11th inning that decided the game. And you heard him say, hey, I rake with the mic. It was in He was definitely ready to put it back on again tonight.
Baseball players are the most superstitious people I've ever been around in my entire life. Something works, you stay with it.
With the count 0-2, now the Orioles go into their shift against Moustakas. Pretty much playing him straight up when that at-bat began. We saw earlier in their series he laid down a bunt once with the shift on. Another time he singled to left.
Most teams do play the shift right from the beginning with him, but he also countered that by getting a successful bunt down and hitting the ball the other way.
Off speed, on the ground to first. Pierce takes it himself, one down.
It almost tells you what kind of pitches you're going to throw to him when you go 0-2 to the other side of the infield. You're not going to go fastball away. You're going to go off-speed pitches, or you're going to come in. And maybe the book is so strong on him, this is where we need to get him out, that they're sure that they can play on that side with an 0-2 count.
Back to the top of the Kansas City order now, and Alcides Escobar. Line to Adam Jones his first time.
You know, the numbers have changed how we look at it, and the data and the statistics, you're going with what or will probably happen. There was always a coordination between the pitcher throwing what pitches he was going to throw and where the defense was going to go. I thought Joe Madden did a nice job in Tampa when he talked about if the pitcher does not want it, if he looks behind there, he has the ability to call it off, which I think is a good adaptation to the shifts at times, because the pitcher has to have confidence that the defense is playing where he's pitching into.
The 2-0 hit well to left. Diaza back at the track. That ball is gone. Alcides Escobar has put the Kansas City Royals on top. So it's the Royals who display the power first in this series.
Escobar is swinging the bat so well since he jumped into that leadoff spot. And right here, he doesn't look like a leadoff hitter. He's leaning back on this pitch. High fastball, hits it out left.
Remember his first at bat, he hit a bullet to center field, and now this home run.
Here's Aoki. Squares to bunt, takes a strike, 0-1.
Kansas City still tries to defy the odds. First career postseason home runs. He hit 3 home runs in the regular season. And first one to hit one out of the ballpark here, not the Orioles, but the Kansas City Royals.
Another look. They had 4 postseason home runs, 2 each for Hosmer and Moustakas, and now Escobar gets in on the act. Aoki fouls it away.
Interesting to see everyday players, those shots of everyone cheerleading. That's something maybe you see in college every game. But during the regular season, 162 games, everyday players kind of save their energy, but not in the post. Everyone becomes a cheerleader when they're not at the plate.
The 1-2. Blooper into left. It's going to fall in front of Diaza. And it's a 1-out single for Aoki. Guy can do a lot of things with that bat. Often no 2 swings look the same. And he served that one into left. He was 17 out of 25 in the stolen base department. And here's Lorenzo Cain. Reached on an infield single his first time.
Kansas City also utilizes the speed in hit and run situations. So not only do you have to defend against the steal, you have to keep in mind that they like to hit and run.
Kane takes low and away, 1-0.
See the defense here, but you got a lot of room between Pierce and Scope at second base. Lorenzo Kane can hit that hole. Remember, against Weaver in the first game of the ALDS, Aoki was picked off at first base. A little shorter lead.
Hundley with a good job with the block. 2 balls and no strikes. Mike Jerschele, the third base coach of the Kansas City Royals.
We just came off a series of the Angels, and Mike Scioscia calls all those pickoffs and pitch outs, and he likes to pitch out. That's a good weapon against the hit and run. Buck Showalter doesn't believe in the pitch out so much, so you can feel more confident when you get ahead in the count. You're not going to pitch out. You'll get a pitch to hit on a hit and run.
Throw over and Aoki back. Kane, who didn't start playing organized baseball till his sophomore year in high school, didn't play Little League, said his mom was working 2 jobs. He helped out around the house. Took to the sport immediately in high school, and then found himself drafted out of high school. And he takes again. 3 balls and no strikes.
You see Tillman in this inning throw a lot of cutters, and it just hasn't found the plate. Jerschele, Kane, Aoki.
And Aoki faked like he was going to steal, caused Scope to cover second base. So sometimes you have the benefit just on a fake that you get the infielder out of position.
Inside, ball 4. 2 on, 1 out. Steve Physiak, what you got?
He told me Monday until the end of.
We will check back in with Steve momentarily. So after Moustakas grounded out to start the inning, Escobar homered, Aoki singled, Kane walked. First and second for the cleanup hitter Eric Hosmer. Breaking pitch missed. 1-0.
Tillman has the great ability to throw any one of his 4 pitches over the plate. We've seen a couple times where he's dropped a 3-2 curveball to get a strikeout the first time to Hosmer. Struggling with his control just a little bit right now.
Strike zone jumping 2-0. It was a 4-pitch walk to Kane after the single by Aoki. And right away, he's fallen behind 2-0. Three balls and no strikes. Buck Showalter watched Tillman string together 20 consecutive starts, allowing 3 earned runs or less. A streak that was snapped in his last start of the season.
Very difficult. Hundley said he could be swinging, but after 7 balls in a row, very hard to swing at a 3-0 pitch.
That's over for a strike, 3-1.
Some hitters don't like to swing at a 3-0 pitch. Feels like they have an advantage that the 3-1 pitch will be the same as the 3-0 pitch. You got to really convince yourself that you're going to get a good pitch to hit on 3-0.
Good speed on the bases in Aoki and Kane. Power at the plate and Hosmer. Tried to hold up. They're going to check. And third base umpire Ron Culpa says he went. The count full, 3-2.
So in hindsight, Eric's thinking, okay, why did I take that 3-0 pitch? I didn't get the fastball like I got on 3-0. I got a breaking ball 3-1.
Good call by Ron Culpa. He did go on this breaking ball down. Looking fastball in.
He was cheating a little bit for the same pitch. Got himself out. He couldn't hold up.
Tillman fighting back from a 3-0 count. Now 3-2 to Hosmer. And he got him. Hosmer goes down swinging for the second time tonight.
This time he goes down swinging on an inside fastball. Slight little cut to it. After seeing the 3-1 hook and then striking him out on a 3-2 hook the first time, he's thinking, I don't know what I'm going to get. Makes a good pitch on the inside corner. Strikes him out. Big, big pitch.
So the runners remain at first and second now with 2 out and a run in. And here's Billy Butler, who singled his first time.
And endured many of those losing seasons as one of their best hitters.
One and 0.
KC 0 for 5 with men on tonight. Whenever I look at Billy Butler, he's a big man with a small stance. I always think he must have liked Jeff Bagwell when he was growing up, because he's a big guy, gets really down low, kind of uses his legs.
Jonathan Scope almost on the bag at second with Aoki taking his lead. 1-1.
Good use of the off-speed pitches behind in the count by Tillman. The 1-0 changeup right there.
See the shift on here against Butler. He's hit some balls to right field also, though, in the postseason.
On the ground, in the hole. Hardy, long throw, and he's safe. Pierce bobbled the ball at first. It's an infield hit for Butler. Bases loaded with 2 out.
JJ ranges far to his right in the hole. Comes up, tries to get more on it. Steve gets out there. Not in a good pick position, but does block the ball and stop the run from scoring.
Most first basemen will go out there to try to meet the ball, to try to separate that bounce, but Pierce takes it almost like a catcher in the hustle by Billy Butler.
Everybody joked about Billy Butler stealing that base in the division series. He was digging out of the box there and stands at first. They're loaded with 2 out for Alex Gordon. Well, you talk about a huge spot for Tillman here and a golden opportunity for Kansas City.
Well, with this Kansas City team, you think of speed. I was just thinking, what happens if Dyson was on instead of Aoki on that ball, or Terrence Gore?
Dyson or Gore wouldn't have stopped.
They would not have stopped, and they would have both scored.
The 0-1. In the first inning of Game 3 in Kansas City, Alex Gordon came to the plate, 2 out, bases loaded. They basically had C.J. Wilson on the ropes. He was waiting for the round to end, waiting for the bell, and then the knockout came from Gordon. He doubled off the wall that night, cleared the bases, and the Royals were on their way.
Many times this year, the Kansas City crowd would chant MVP when Gordon would come to the plate. They could use an MVP hit right here.
1-1. Tillman a strike away from getting out of this. Taking you back to 2008. That's the warehouse out there. That's Utah Street. Alex Gordon, one of those who has reached it. There have been 79 that hit Utah Street on the fly. Here comes the 1-2.
Shields pitched his way out of a bases loaded jam. Tillman's looking to do the same.
Royals lead from every base. Gordon waits on a 1-2, and the count even. One of the first things Dayton Moore did as general manager of this team was draft this guy. Number 2 overall pick in 2006. Getting his first taste of the postseason. Huge at bat right here. The 2-2 off speed, just missed.
Good curveball, Cal. I think Timmons is seeing this ball come around the plate and being a little up and out of the strike zone. I think it's a good call.
Bad one here, forces in a run. The 3-2. Broke his bat. That ball to right is going to fall in fair territory. 1 run is in. 2 runs are in. Here comes Billy Butler. He will score. 3-run score for Kansas City. It is 4-0. And Alex Gordon has done it with the bases loaded again.
Well, this fastball gets in on him, breaks his bat, but he hits it right in the perfect spot down the right field line. With the runners running, Butler's allowed to score from first base. And the relay throw coming in allows Alex Gordon to get to third base.
You know what's interesting, Cal, is that the only way you can keep that ball fair is to get jammed with that ball. Instead of it curving and hooking foul, it'll stay true.
See Ned Yo saying, stay fair, stay fair, stay fair.
Double for Gordon. Takes third on the error on Scope. And here's Salvador Perez. That's Tommy Hunter getting loose here in the 3rd inning in the Oriole bullpen.
Well, we talk so much about Kansas City shortening the game to 6 innings. But when they're leading by 4+ runs, they're 49-2 on the year.
No balls, 2 strikes to the Kansas City catcher. Well, Alex Gordon. Talk about him being the Royals leader in RBIs this year. And one of the best hitters in the American League with runners in scoring position. Delivers with a broken bat double here in the 3rd. Scores 3. And it's 4-0 Kansas City. Breaking pitch hit to left. Piazza is right there. But the Kansas City Royals do some third inning damage. A solo homer by Escobar. And then Alex Gordon clearing the bases with a double. 4-0 Royals. Get a complete position-by-position breakdown on how the Royals and Orioles match up with the Team Stream app from Bleacher Report. Download Team Stream for your iPad, iPhone, or Android device today. Bottom half of the third, top of the order for Baltimore. Nick Markakis, who flied out to center his first time. So we talk about a shutdown inning now for James Shields, Ronnie. So get inside James Shields' mind right now.
Well, he's pitched 227 innings in the regular season.
Hard hit down the line, fair ball. Markakis around first. The throw to second. Cut off. Lead-off double for Markakis here in the third.
It's a breaking ball right here. Line drive right down the right field line, and Markakis makes this because he hustles out of the box. Aoki's got a strong arm, but no play at second base.
I was saying, Ernie, that he had 227 innings pitched all season, 2 postseason starts, and this is the biggest inning he'll have to pitch all season long.
And it begins with an extra base hit for the Orioles, who trail 4-0. Here's Alejandro Diaza. Diaza started the year with the White Sox and came over to Baltimore. Played in 20 games. He's got some power. He will go the opposite way, too. This one's hit to second. Infante gobbles it up, throws him out as Markakis moves on to third with one down.
Steve Pearce was playing first base on that double by Gordon. Watch when it stays fair, the reaction. Sometimes players become fans, and you can see Steve Pearce, the hand on his head, saying, "Oh no." But you know, this is a Kansas City team. They don't strike out a lot. 2 strikes, they put the ball in play. A lot of people out there, they value the strikeout by the pitcher, devalue it for the hitter. It's just an out. Well, sometimes putting the ball in play really pays off.
Well, Pearce had a great look at the barrel of Alex Gordon's bat flying over toward first as it was shattered. But a 3-run double for Gordon. And now here's Adam Jones.
Diaz's ground ball is a productive out because it moved the runner to third base.
And the Orioles will get on the board. Jones knocks in Markakis. 4-1.
Goes up there thinking the big part of the field to drive this run in and catches a hanging breaking ball. Lines it hard into left field.
Well, Shields has thrown 3 breaking balls this inning. Markakis double, a blistering ground ball by Piazza, and the base hit by Jones.
And here's Nelson Cruz. Singled his first time. The Orioles loaded the bases in the second but didn't score. Kansas City came back in the top half of the third, loaded the bases and made the most of it. Checking in with Mike Bordick. Mike?
Yeah, well, Buck Showalter and the Orioles, when they were able to land Nelson Cruz, there was some concern about his health. They needed his bat to stay fresh and strong all season long. So Buck Showalter decided he was going to split the season. Hey, play the outfield. He loves playing every day. Play the outfield. He played 70 games in the outfield for the Orioles, but 89 at DH, and that's why Nelson Cruz set career highs in almost every offensive category this year.
But here, he's retired. On the pop-up to Salvador Perez for the second out.
Yeah, Bordy makes a good point, is that could be the Texas heat that wears on you as a player, but he has fallen off, and Buck Showalter was aware of that and then used the DH position to freshen him up and really got a lot of productivity out of him.
So with Jones still at first and now with 2 out, here's Steve Pearce. Lined out to Lorenzo Cain, the Royals center fielder, his first time. This ball's well hit to the gap in left center field. Cain is over, so is Gordon, and Alex Gordon, the 3-time Gold Glover, makes the play. Those Kansas City gloves, so evident in the Angels series. And look at Alex Gordon getting it done here in the 3rd. Keeps it a 4-1 game. Top half of the 4th. Oriole Park at Camden Yards. A true jewel on the Major League Baseball landscape. What a place. What a place. Opened in 1992 and just been a model for a lot of the ballparks built since. Omar Infante takes a strike. It's 1-1.
Yeah, I remember I played 10 years in Memorial Stadium, and I was really sad and unhappy when they decided to build a new stadium. Then the first day you walk in here, you immediately forget about the other 10 years.
Automatic good mood.
This seems like baseball was played here before. They did a wonderful job of just capturing the feeling of the history of baseball.
No memory of the memorial for you as soon as you came in here.
Chris Tillman with a 2-1 count against Infante. That's upstairs, 3-1.
You know, it's been interesting to watch Omar Infante. Some of his throws have been erratic. There's a story about he's got an aching right shoulder. He's had some trouble, might have surgery after the season, but it's shown a little in his defense and his offense. But it seems like these days off, his bat's a little quicker today.
You got to remember, KC's been playing playoff baseball for a long time. They've had the set lineup. They've been really leaning on their regulars, and sometimes that wears a little bit.
Let's take a look at tonight's forecaster presented by Voya Financial. 83% chance when they score 4 runs or more, and that's really been the magic number as this season has gone on. They were 69-14 in the regular season, 3-0 in the post, and they've scored 4 here early in Game 1 of the American League Championship Series. Mike Moustakas thought about it, held up, 1-0. Moustakas, the number 9 hitter. Leadoff man Alcides Escobar is on deck. He homered in the 3rd. You know when you can feel that fans are getting a little nervous? It's happening right now here at Camden Yards. And once again, Tommy Hunter is up and loosening in the Oriole bullpen.
And Chris Tillman is trying to find his control. Just a little bit off on his location.
3-0.
And you can see it there, Cal. Hundley, the last couple of innings, has called for pitches outside. They've been pitched inside. Inside, they've been pitched outside. Hunter looks loose already.
Infante at first, he walked. Moustakas takes a strike, 3-1.
Now, as a starting pitcher, you start to sense that your time is a little limited here. So I don't think that Moustakas is going to see the 3-1 breaking ball that Hosmer did. He's going to get the same pitch, a fastball.
I was thinking the same thing. He dropped a 2-0 changeup on him, which was really weird for me. Sometimes you go with an off-speed pitch to correct your mechanics a little bit, and then you get your fastball back.
Threw it by him at 92. And we're due a 3-2 pitch to the Royals' number 9 hitter. Orioles shift. 3 infielders on the right side.
I would expect Infante to run, put the wheels in motion. They like to make things happen. Stay out of a double play.
Not going. Pitch fouled back.
You're watching him. He didn't get a good jump. He held the ball a little bit, and I wonder if he stopped on his own.
So Ned Yost starting the line of communication to Mike Jerschele. And on the receiving end at first is Omar Infante.
The reason you wouldn't do it here is if you're worried about a strikeout or if they make good contact.
There he goes, and the pitch fouled back.
I think you had it right, Cal, that Infante was going the pitch before. He just did not get a jump. So probably the sign is, we just gave you the sign to run. I don't care what kind of jump you get, you got to run. And you can do that only with a ball club that does not strike out or strikes out the least.
You don't want to get picked off, but you want to make sure that you get a decent enough jump where they have to cover second base.
Another 3-2 is due from Tillman to Moustakas. Runner not going. Again, it's fouled back. You talked about, as we came on the air, Ron, the importance of a guy like Mike Moustakas, who earlier this season was sent down to AAA.
He was sent down to AAA, went down to Omaha, hit .355 in a matter of less than 2 weeks, was called back up. He only had one home run his last 163 at-bats of the regular season this year, but already has 2 in the postseason.
Doing work with the Omaha hitting coach, Tommy Gregg, in that visit to AAA. Again, we wait for a 3-2. In the air to right, Nick Markakis is right there. 1 down. Let's go down to get that Kansas City angle again from one of their TV and radio voices, Steve Fisiak.
I wanted to talk about Alex Gordon's defense because outfielder coach Rusty Kuhn says Gordon is like a shutdown corner in the NFL. He rarely positions him because Gordon's instincts are so good and he reads swings so well. He'll likely, because of plays like we just saw in left field, win his 4th straight Gold Glove this year.
Thank you very much, Steve. And boy, we have just seen it time and again from every outfield position in the course of this postseason for Kansas City. Alcides Escobar, who homered his last time, got Kansas City on the board, and he takes a strike. 0-1.
Kane has had 3 great plays. Aoki 2 great plays. Wood and Gordon, in left field with that great play. I remember Dyson's throw in Los Angeles.
The double play on the ball that was sinking in left center field.
Yeah, the defense totally took out the hope out of the offense of the Angels. Hits turned into outs.
The 0-1. Not even a ball and a strike. So, yeah, there were sensational plays, and there were great plays / interesting plays that Aoki made out there in right field. Took a couple of weird routes, but the outcome was always the same for Ned Yost bunch. They only made 1 error in the Angels series, and that was by Infante with a throwing error. One and 2.
You look at team speed, many times you just look at the stolen bases and the pressure it puts on the pitchers. But the team defense, the speed in the outfield, covers a lot of ground.
One ball, 2 strikes, runner at first. And Escobar fouled it back to the screen. This is what happened in the 3rd inning. Got one he liked at the letters and drilled it. That got the Royals started. It was Alex Gordon who cleared the bases with a broken bat double. That gave the Royals their 4 runs. This one's popped up in the infield. Who wants it? Scope is calling, and Pierce is right there, and Scope gloves it. 2 down. Pretty loud night here, Cal, and I guess that contributes to a play like this.
Yeah, I was just wondering if the noise had actually gotten away here. There is a fly ball priority, and Pierce could go over there and get himself under it. But if you're both calling for the ball at the same time, then it negates your ability to hear.
Pierce has no chance for that rebound against Scope. Scope is a big man at second base.
Here's Aoki, who singled and scored in the 3rd. To right field. Markakis takes a couple of steps and gloves it for the 3rd out. Middle of the 4th inning. Game 1. Royals leading by 3. The suspense continues tomorrow right here on TBS, featuring ALCS Game 2 between the Royals and Orioles. Coverage beginning at 3:30 Eastern with Casey Stern and the fellas. Then tune into Fox at 8 o'clock to catch Game 1 of the NLCS with the Giants and Cardinals. Do not miss a minute of the action. J.J. Hardy leading it off, bottom half of the 4th for the Orioles, who trail 4-1. Hardy singled his first time. Place is packed here. It's going to be 48,000 plus. And with the setting of Camden Yards here, tried to check and couldn't. First base umpire Marvin Hudson makes the call. You got like the Hilton Hotel that you can see out over the left center field wall, and you can see folks on their balconies out there. One of the benefits of business travel. Honey, I got to go out of town. I'm going to be in Baltimore. Oh, and the Orioles are playing tonight. Oh, and it's game 1 of the ALCS against the Royals. And look at that view of Camden Yards.
On the other end of the line, doesn't sound like all business to me.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And the count full. Royals with 4 in the top half of the 3rd. The Orioles countered with 1 in their half. And Hardy leads it off in the bottom half of the 4th. In the air, left field, pretty deep, but Alex Gordon has plenty of room for the first out. Moments ago, we spoke with Royals manager Ned Yost. Ned, we hear a lot about the Kansas City speed, but you guys have been swinging the bats pretty well lately.
Yeah, we've been swinging the bats really good. You know, that ball that Gordy hit with the bases loaded, he had some English on it. It looked like it was going to go foul and just curved back, you know, down in that right field corner. But it was a big hit for us. You know, guys getting on base, loading them up in that situation for Gordy to deliver was big.
And another fantastic outfield defensive play. This by your Gold Glove left fielder, Gordon.
Yeah, well, they've been doing that all year long. Our outfield play has been outstanding all year long. When you got guys that can cover as much ground as they do, they draw, they close down the distance, and they're not afraid to lay out and catch a baseball.
Thanks to Ned for taking a couple of minutes in between innings as Brian Flaherty steps in. Blooper off the glove of Infante. Flaherty reaches with 1 out here in the 4th.
Here's a cutter that gets in. We talked about Ned Yost putting a little English on Alex Gordon's ball. That looks like it came back as well. Sometimes the wind here circles coming in from left field all the way around, which might push that ball a little bit away from Infante. Good effort.
One out single for Flaherty, and here's Nick Hundley. Infield single his first time as he shot one into the hole at short. Most frequently asked question that Nick Hundley gets, and especially in Chicago. Any relation to Randy Hundley, the old Cubs catcher? No. When he goes to New York, he said, any relation to Todd Hundley? No, I'm not.
I think it must be the same for the catcher Gustavo Molina when he was traveling around. They probably asked him if he was the fourth Molina brother. Same for Hundley.
Came to Baltimore from San Diego. He's behind, no balls, 2 strikes. Flaherty with the lead at first. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I've seen many games where James Shields just master lineups, but in these postseason starts, he has not been at his best. But you see the fight that he has in him, even when he doesn't have his best stuff.
I thought he looks more like the normal James Shields tonight. Not fighting himself, not trying to overthrow, making pitches.
Strike 3 called to Hundley for the second out.
Pitch track says it's right on the corner. What's interesting for a catcher, you see the 4-seam grip, so that ball's going to stay true on the corner. Little dip at the end. Is that when you're Hundley, the catcher, you might be saying, you know what? We've had a lot of pitches like that that have not been called strikes. We want the same when we go back out there.
And the catcher has that interesting perspective. He's catching every single pitch, knows what strike zone is being called against him. And there's been some close pitches.
Jonathan Scope, the number 9 hitter, takes a ball. It's 1-0. He popped out to second his first time. He bats now with 2 out and a runner at first, Ryan Flaherty, who singled. On the ground to short, Escobar goes the short way for the force, and that'll do it for the Orioles in the 4th. 4 innings in the books and a 4-1 Kansas City lead.
This 2014 ALCS telecast on TBS is brought to you by Charles Schwab, Own Your Tomorrow, and by Chevrolet, Find New Roads.
Top of the 5th, Chris Tillman on the mound, Lorenzo Cain at the plate. Kansas City on top 4-1 in Game 1 of the American League Championship Series here on TBS. Thanks for being with us tonight, folks. Ernie Johnson, Cal Ripken, Ron Darling. We got Steve Physiok down there. We've got Mike Bordick. We got Matt Weiner. And we've got an 0-2 count to Cain. Infield single in the first, but they couldn't move him around, and then he walked in the 3rd and scored on the Alex Gordon broken bat bases loaded double. Over second, base hit. Adam Jones slides to make the stop. Here's the throw to second. He is safe. The Kansas City speed comes into play. Buck Showalter may want another look at it.
Buck's going to take his time. By the time he gets out there, he'll get an answer from his bench.
Well, this is the speed that you're talking about that this Kansas City Royals team has. No hesitation right away. Adam makes a great play, great throw, getting it to second. Hard to tell whether he's out or safe. Looks like he just got in there.
Bang, bang at second. And Joe West, the second base umpire, made the call, said Kane is safe. And that's a leadoff double here in the fifth. They've just gotten the left hand in there. Great play by Adam Jones, too, to slide and glove that in the gap and then quickly get to his feet and fire a strike to second. Here's Eric Hosmer, who has struck out twice against Tillman.
We've seen Adam make some great plays with his range, with his jumping over the fence, but also he's got a heck of an arm. And he can double you up and make strong throws to all the bases. I don't know how he could have played that any better. And Kane did not even hesitate.
One-0 to second. Scope on the backhand. Nice play. Throws him out. Kane moves over to third. Between innings, we had a chance to speak with Orioles manager Buck Showalter. Buck, what got Chris Tillman in trouble in the third inning?
Just command a little bit. You know, we unfortunately made a really good pitch on Gordon. They found the foul line, but you know, it's kind of different. Chris is one of those guys who usually finds his step a little bit, and you trust him. Obviously, we're in a little different situation, but just elevated some baseballs, and you know, he hasn't really been able to consistently command his breaking ball yet. Enough to keep us engaged here.
Hey, Buck, Adam Jones a couple years ago was noticeably jumpy playing in the playoffs. Right now, it looks like he's ready to get hot.
Yeah, I know. He's a little frustrated with that last round, and you know, Adam, you can see that look in his face. I just want him to be Adam. Don't try to be somebody different just because it's the playoffs, and that's pretty good. But you know, he knows who he is, and he's very easy to trust.
That was Buck Showalter moments ago, and he has given Tillman the hook here in the fifth. Another look at Adam Jones with the slide in the gap and the throw to second. But Lorenzo Kane just beating the throw.
Yeah, a couple interesting things here. He slides over, puts his body in a great position to throw. He's got a strong arm. J.J. Hardy reads his hop and lets the ball travel the velocity so he can make a tag straight down. Couldn't do anything better on the defensive part. Kane just beats it.
After that, Hosmer grounded to second. Kane moved to third, and Buck Showalter made the move from the dugout to the mound, got the ball from Tillman, and handed it to Tommy Hunter.
Well, I think that what has happened for Buck Showalter, he has seen that Billy Butler's taken two pretty good at-bats against Tillman. This is a run that can't come across. What do? You bring in a more of a power pitcher, and that's what Tommy Hunter represents. 45 strikeouts and 60 2/3 innings.
In the playoffs, not necessarily you're going to bring a long man in early in the game to get you where the starter is. You're going to match up. You're going to match up much earlier, and he needs a strikeout here.
Hunter was a starter much of his career, has been converted into a relief man, and he throws a lot harder than he used to.
Well, he throws 94 to 95 miles an hour. Interesting. We've always talked to Buck Showalter about gut and the numbers. Well, the numbers tell you that Billy Butler's 3 for 10 off Tommy Hunter, but his gut told him he needed to bring in more power pitcher.
Hunter appeared in 60 games this year. ERA 2.97 in the end of the night for Chris Tillman. Mike Bordick, what you got?
Well, Chris Tillman had a hard time getting into his rhythm, really struggling early on. That front shoulder looked like it was flying out. Now, Chris Tillman made some adjustments with his windup to be more efficient, but if his front shoulder's leaking, he's going to have some command problems. Well, that's what you saw in this ball game, and the Royals put some pressure on him. Buck Showalter had to go to this bullpen early.
Billy Butler stands infield in for the Orioles.
KC is one of the best teams at getting that runner in from third in less than 2 out. Almost 60% of the time.
Kane's got great speed. He leads from third.
To me, it just really identifies that Buck Showalter has said here in the 5th inning, he's drawing a line in the sand. He's bringing in a new pitcher that he thinks is going to be able to get a strikeout, and he's also brought his infield in. He cannot allow Kane to score, although Kane has so much speed, he might even be thinking of contact here.
Butler hitless in the division series against the Angels. 2 for 2 here in game 1 with a run scored. Takes a strike. 1-2.
Looking at Kane at third base, he shows no signs actually of wanting to score on the contact. You know, it's an opportunity where you can take a shot. Kansas City's been really good at driving the run in, so you want to let the hitter drive him in. Don't take the chance to put pressure on here and score on a ground ball.
In the air to right center field, pretty well hit. Jones makes the play. Kane will tag and score easily. And it's 5-1 Kansas City. Billy Butler, sacrifice fly.
Just another example of these Royals when they have 2 strikes. They have a 2-strike approach. It's something that not all teams use anymore. And Butler just trying to get that ball, hitting it to the right side, got a lot of wood on it, and got the sacrifice fly.
Yeah, they clearly manufactured that run. Base hit in the right center field. Kane stretches it from a single to double. Not too many people will do that. Hosmer moves him up to third base, and Butler gets him in. A big run.
Alex Gordon looks at a breaking pitch. 0-1. Gordon had the huge 2-out double in the third with the bases loaded, cleared him. Part of a 4-run third. He's behind 0-2. That bat in a million pieces. Double down the line. Error on scope on the play as he moved to third. They all scored. And Kansas City had a little cushion.
Sometimes it's not how hard you hit it, it's where you hit it. If these Royals do protect the plate with 2 strikes, they put the bat on the ball.
And they know how to manufacture runs and get runs in.
Tommy Hunter trying to put away Alex Gordon. Right back where it came from. Gordon's 2 out of 3, and that was right on the screws.
A 1-2 fastball here. Tried to get it in, but it leaked back out over the middle of the plate. And Gordon sends it right back where it came from.
Now here's Salvador Perez. He's 0 for 2. Oh, Gordon just got caught leading and he got picked off. Oh, gotcha. But the Royals with another run here in the 5th. Lead at 5-1.
Get out! Yeah! Let's go! Come on, come on, come on! way.
We're going to have a hard time getting the mic off of Eric Hosmer. All mic'd up for us tonight here in Game 1 of the American League Championship Series. And Hosmer, the guy, knows how to throw a party, doesn't he? He really celebrated in style and wanted everybody there with him in Kansas City the other night. Nick Markakis, a little blooper into left. It's going to fall. For the second time tonight, he's led off with a base hit. He doubled in the third. He singles here in the bottom of the fifth. Let's check in with Matt Weiner.
Well, as much as Kansas City is enjoying the Royals' resurgence, no one's having more fun than Eric Hosmer. As you mentioned, Sunday night he included Royals fans in the celebration. He tweeted an invitation for fans to join him and his teammates at a bar called McFadden's in Kansas City. On top of that, they foot the bar bill for everybody who came out. Contrary to what you may have read, Hosmer himself did not spend $20,000 on drinks, but his personal bill was about $3 grand. As a team, the Royals spent about $16,000, including $1,000 as a tip for the bartenders. So whether it's batter up or belly up, they're having a great fall.
When you've waited since 1985, and that city was ready to explode. Alejandro Diaza. 1-0. Top of the Orioles order here in the bottom half of the fifth. The game they trail 5-1. Markakis with a leadoff single. And Diaza, the number 2 hitter. Waiting on a 1-0 from James Shields. That will be out of play to left.
We can't fail to mention that the Kansas City Royals, to this point, I believe, played almost a perfect game. But they're playing against the Baltimore Orioles, a team that can score in bunches. One swing of the bat, they can get back into this ball game. They've done it all season long.
Well hit into right field, base hit. Markakis will hold at second. Back-to-back singles to start the fifth for the Orioles.
Looks like a cutter, a little spinning slider. Hit sharply in the hole. Markakis down 5-1. No thoughts of going to third base. Leave the table set for the big guys.
Here's Adam Jones, who has Baltimore's only RBI of the night. Knocked in Markakis in the third. Ran it inside, missed. A ball and no strikes. Another broken bat. This one to third. Moustakas will get the force. One down. Runners at first and second.
Adam lays off the first pitch on the 1-0, but this came right back in there with a 2-seam fastball. Saws him right in half. Moustakas wisely takes the force out of third. Make sure you get one out there.
Sometimes we talk about pitchers' execution, how sequence of pitches. Really was guts there for Shields. A home run hitter, a chance to get back in the game. He throws 2 pitches inside and challenges Jones.
Shields still has work to do here in the fifth. Nelson Cruz at the plate with 1 down and 2 on. Cruz had the first Baltimore hit leading off the second. He fouled out to the catcher Perez in the third. There's a strike, 1-1.
Cruz was made for these league championship moments. 44 at bats, 8 home runs, and 18 RBI. And he's been dominating right-handed pitchers.
You're not telling the Tigers anything, that's for sure.
And there's that same two-seam fastball that broke Adam Jones's bat, goes right back in.
Here's Markakis, who opened the inning with a single. Was forced at third. Well hit down the line and left. Gordon back. It's off the wall. That's going to score a run. They're at second and third. And it's 5-2. Nelson Cruz delivers again.
We talked earlier in the year, he picks on a changeup and drives it out of the ballpark for a home run. I don't know why he went to the changeup right there, threw a fastball right by him, and Nelly's waiting for it.
When you're ahead of a batter and you choose to go with that pitch, if you bounce it, it's a good pitch. It's not a good pitch in the strike zone. Shields knows that, and he paid for it.
And Shields is lucky that they only went for a double.
That's Brandon Finnegan, rookie left-hander, getting loose in the Kansas City bullpen. Here's Steve Pearce.
Taken a long time. We saw this before between Shields and Perez in Los Angeles. With runners on base.
They're back at short and second, willing to concede the run as Perez makes the block.
He shakes to a curveball, just hangs onto the curveball too much. A really nice block by Perez.
Big man with great quickness.
Big cut by Pearce, 1-1.
So 1-0 cutter slider. A little bit slower than he normally throws it. Maybe just wanted to get it over. So much is predicated on what happened the at-bat before, the at-bat before that. Pearce hit that ball to left center field, and it's almost taken a pitch away from Shields. Curveball on the first pitch, slider on the second pitch.
The rallying cry of Baltimore, we won't stop. Shields misses inside, 2-1.
It's been a magical season for Pearce. Why should it end now?
Yeah, with first base open, Shields does not look like he wants to challenge him here. That's a lot of signs he shook off.
Grounded foul past third. And everybody here in Baltimore has a chance to catch their breath.
Whenever Shields is in trouble, he always goes back home to the changeup. And that was a pitch he threw to Pearce right there.
You had an old pitching coach that used to say that all the time, didn't you, Al Jackson?
That's right.
Where's he go?
fouls off the 2-2. Pierce hit the ball well as last time. Great play by Gordon in left field. Runners lead from second and third, and Pierce takes down low. Full count. J.J. Hardy, the on-deck hitter.
Pierce has got to be ready for anything. With first base open, it could be a fastball, could be a curveball, slider, or a change.
They're loaded. Pitching coach Dave Island on his way to the mound to talk to James Shields, who has just issued his first walk.
Well, Island is out there. He's seen some confusion between Perez and Shields. He's talking to both of them to try to get on point here against J.J. Hardy. What do we want to do against him? It's really now he's giving it back to Perez and Shields as they're discussing how they're going to go up against J.J. Hardy.
Steve Fisiak, what you got?
Hey, even when James Shields' stuff in command are not as sharp, his determination and fire almost wills him to get people out. You might remember Game 3 of the ALDS. He did not have his best stuff or best command, but he only gave up 2 runs in 6 innings. I've seen him so many times this year in these situations make the big pitch at the big time.
This qualifies as a big time. Bases loaded with 1 out. And there's a strike 0-1.
J.J. had a really good year with runners in scoring position. Hit .315 this year, career high.
In this postseason, there's the number you gave. The Orioles are 12 for 28 with runners in scoring position. They've been a hot team. Last at bat for Hardy almost took Shields' yard.
Hardy laid off a ball and a strike.
Again, early in the ball game, he did hit that fastball that was up in the strike zone. If I was him, I'd be looking away, looking for an off-speed pitch.
Orioles down 3, but they've got the bases loaded. Just 1 out here in the 5th. Strike 2 to Hardy. 1 and 2.
And there's that slider. Shift the fastball off inside, going back with a breaking ball.
Tried to check his swing and did. Marvin Hudson said he did not go. 2 and 2.
Yeah, he held that up.
Just missed. 3 and 2.
He humped up to 94 right then. When James Shields is right, he makes that fastball in the outside corner.
No place to put him. Strike 3 called. Hardy caught looking with the bases loaded, 2 down.
What was Steve Fisiak saying? He makes that big pitch on big time. Here's the pitch sequence, a little slider to start. That's the pitch he wanted to get him out on. Stayed with that pitch to get ahead, then tried to dart a fastball after he got to 2 and 2, missed, and then came back with another slider. But this one started at Hardy and ended up on the inside part of the plate.
Huge pitch by Shields, 2 down, bases still loaded.
Yeah, I'd have to say he didn't intend to start it at him and bring it back. It was a surprise of the breaking ball 3-2. That fooled him.
Here's Ryan Flaherty, struck out and singled. Line drive, right field, base hit. 1 run scores, 2 runs will score, and the Orioles have made it a 1-run game.
Ball down the right field line. We talked about Adam Jones sliding to make a great play. Look at this great play to keep it to a single and not another run scored. Aoki gets over there, slides, catches the ball, comes up, gives it to the cutoff man. Really nice play.
We told you earlier in the game, Ryan Flaherty on the first pitch hitting, average 442. Another first pitch hit.
Now the tying run just 90 feet away. Nick Hundley at the plate. Four hits in the inning for the Orioles. 3 have scored. And there's Steve Pearce at third and Flaherty at first. Line drive, gloved by Infante to retire the side. But they say it here in Baltimore, we won't stop. And you saw it in the 5th. 3 score. It's 5-4. The upcoming TBS schedule presented by DirecTV. We got a dandy here in the opener, and then tomorrow it's an afternoon game. We hit the air at 3:30 with the pregame show. Go to Kansas City Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And if we need to come back here to Baltimore, we will do that on the 17th and 18th. Kevin Gausman, the 3rd Orioles pitcher, as we move to the 6th.
Do not be fooled by the record. This young man is almost a secret weapon for the Orioles out of the bullpen. Throws 93 plus with great life on his fastball.
Salvador Perez at the plate. Takes a strike. Perez was at the plate in the 5th when Alex Gordon was picked off by Tommy Hunter.
Secret weapon for the Orioles, of course, Gausman.
Now, does 99 more than 93?
A lot more.
Because he's pumped right now. First pitch, 99 miles an hour.
Quickly ahead, 0-2. Perez is only 3 for 21 in this postseason. But if he doesn't deliver in the 12th inning of the wild card game, well, they might still be playing.
Got a couple big RBI hits where he's contributed, but he hasn't gotten hot yet.
Perez, a tough kid, if you remember. In that series against the Angels, he took the backswing from Josh Hamilton on the head. This was the play that ended the wild card game against the A's and capped the comeback by the Royals, who were down 7-3 in the 8th inning to John Lester. That's when they started stealing everything in sight and eventually stole the wild card game. Here comes the 0-2.
You know, Ronnie, you noticed early in this game that they're using a sequence of signs with nobody on base. A little confusion on what they were doing. Had to have a meeting on the mound. And he comes back with an 0-2 split, it looks like.
Think about it. We talk about it all the time. Changing stuff in the postseason that you haven't done all season long.
It looks like he went to more of a conventional sign right there. Wants it away, the slider.
Down and away. Ball and 2 strikes.
And again, the sequence of signs would be to pick up signs where you could relay them. I can't figure out, unless it's in the bullpen and you got some binoculars, why that's necessary. Back to a conventional sign, so 3 being a slider.
Stays alive. Ball and 2 strikes. Gosman, a first-round pick. Number 4 overall out of LSU back in 2012. And made his major league debut last year. Pitched in 20 games, started 5 of them. Made 20 starts this year. A 1-2 on the ground to short. Easy play for Hardy. 1 down.
The bespectacled Gosman. There used to be a time that hitters didn't like to hit off pitchers who had glasses. You're figuring, if he can't see me, I'm in a little bit of trouble.
Ryan Duran comes to mind. Very few dug in.
I was trying to dig back deep into my past to see if that was really a factor with me. And I can't honestly say it was.
Here's Omar Infante. Takes down low 1-0. Infante flied to center in the second, walked in the fourth. Royals scored 4 times in the third, once in the fifth. Baltimore 3 in the fifth to make it a 1-run game. Well hit, base hit. Infante, who was 0 for 11 in the ALDS, has his first hit of this series. And he's at first with 1 out.
It's just a fastball inside here at 97 miles an hour. Omar Infante can turn on that fastball, and he does. Just past the leaping Flaherty.
Now here's Mike Moustakas. The number 9 hitter is 0 for 2.
Tumbling that baseball like a safe cracker.
To left, easy for Diaza. 2 down here in the 6th.
We hitters used to like to stare at that, because if you get a grip too soon and you hold it, it can be an indication of what pitch you're going to throw. And the counter to that is if you tumble the ball in your hand, you're not telling the runner that's on base, or even if you can see it at home plate, what grip you have until you actually go in your glove.
I used to always tell pitchers, though, don't do that, because if you get nervous and as you're tumbling it, guy on third, it falls out of your hand, it's a balk, and he takes home.
It is to disguise the grip that you have, whether it's across the seams, whether it's 2 seams.
Here's Alcides Escobar.
And many people with a split will load it as a split, because it's hard to actually push it in your glove without changing what you do. So they load it up as a split, and then they vary from that.
They're tumbling the numbers of a safe. Got Tillman. Gosman.
Hit hard. right at third. Flaherty the scope for the force. That does it for the Royals in the sixth.
This 2014 ALCS telecast on TBS is brought to you by T-Mobile and by Jim Beam. Make history.
Zipping right along here at Camden Yards, bottom half of the sixth inning. We got a beaut going here in game one. Kansas City 5, Baltimore 4. James Shields' night is done. Brandon Finnegan, who was pitching at TCU this year and in the College World Series.
Well, I tried to say before that Kevin Gausman was a secret weapon for the Orioles, but Brandon Finnegan certainly has been one for the Royals in the postseason.
Breaking pitch sailed inside to Scope, and it's 2-0.
You can never expect someone that you draft in June is going to help you in October, but Finnegan certainly has.
There's a strike. He pitched in the wild card game and in 2 games of the Angels series. Ned Dios not afraid to use the kid, not by a long shot.
A lot of poise and a sneaky fastball. He's hitting up at 94, 95 when he came in. So far right now he's only registering to 92, 93.
That was enough for Scope. 2-2. Finnegan's 21 years old.
There's those flames on the graphic. 95. 95, Ernie.
Well, if you're thinking,
just made your night, Iron Man. I know.
If you're thinking along with Ned Yost and what he's trying to do here, Kelvin Herrera is up. Brandon Finnegan's in. He's going to face the switch hitting here, Scope. Then you have the left-handed hitting Markakis. Then De Aza, who you could pinch hit for if you had to.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Full count. Kelvin Herrera.
Well, normally he's the 7th inning guy. Wade Davis is the 8th inning guy. Holland is the 9th inning guy. But in the playoffs, you might have to get 4 outs or 5 outs. You might be part of the 6th inning guy.
Leadoff walk for Scope here in the 6th with the Orioles down 1. Shields only walked 1 in his 5 innings of work and struck out 3, allowing those 4 runs. Finnegan issues the free pass to Scope, the number 9 hitter, to lead off the bottom of the 6th.
Enough of an alarm for the nervousness of Finnegan that half the infield and the catcher Perez went out to talk to him.
Top of the Baltimore order, Markakis with Diaza on deck.
I mean, it's possible they could have been talking about a bunt, or the possibility of a bunt. It doesn't seem probable to me.
Markakis fouls it back. You mentioned it earlier, and Buck Showalter certainly stressed it when we met with him earlier about the toughness factor on Markakis, and the lefty-lefty thing doesn't faze him.
He sticks his nose in there, and what that means is you're sticking in on a breaking ball. A lot of lefties will drop down on you, throw different arm angles. And in order to stay in there, you keep your head and your front shoulder in.
This down low, a ball and a strike. Bobby Dickerson, Orioles third base coach. Nick Markakis, Baltimore's leadoff hitter. Jonathan Scope, the runner at first, who walked to start the inning. Breaking pitch missed. 2-1.
One thing we've seen from Finnegan, he's got good sinking action on his fastball. If he can throw it over, he could get a ground ball.
Into right field. That's going to fall for a hit. Scope will stay at second as Aoki was charging in right. Orioles got another rally here in the 6th. And Markakis is 3 for 4.
It's that two-seam fastball that runs in. Nick stays inside the ball, hits it a little fat, meaning more towards the label. But the swing is good. Line drive carries out to right field. And Scope is wondering here, should I go first or third? Checking with the third base coach. Ball's right in front of him. He can make that decision himself.
A walk to Scope, a single by Markakis. And the 2, 3, 4 hitters are waiting for Baltimore.
Yeah, I would expect a bunt here. Didn't expect it from Nick, but I'd expect one here, which if you're successful will take the bat out of Adam Jones's hands.
Diaza at the plate, squares, and bunts it foul, 0-1.
Looked like there was a little mix-up in their bunt coverages. You had Escobar running to third base, and Moustakas staying back.
So Escobar playing the wheel, and when he does charge the third base, Moustakas got to come in hard.
That's the only reason the third baseman would cover third. I mean, the shortstop would cover third, is that the third baseman vacated that position.
Squares again, takes, and look at the snap throw back, and then the throw hits the runner. Scope stays at third. Markakis moves to second. Perez had Scope wandering off a second, but then the throw to third hit it.
What a huge play right here. Scope trying to get a good jump. Perez comes up. Scope does the wise thing just by breaking and making a bang-bang play, and he gets in the way, and Escobar hits him right in the back.
The lucky break for Kansas City is that that ball didn't go into the stands or into the dugout, and the run would have scored. So now they're at second and third. The tying run is at third. And the count to Diaza is 1-1.
Boy, some confusion here for the Royals in this inning. Perez trying to sort it out. That's a play that almost they had Scope so easily at third base. It's almost like Escobar aimed that ball to third instead of letting it go.
They're scoring that a stolen base for Scope. Escobar had him out by 10 feet if this throw is true. Blooper in the infield. It's going to fall. And the game is tied.
Remember, we talked about Gordon. It's not how hard you hit it. This ball's right off the fist. Escobar makes a great effort to try to catch it in the air, and Scope makes a great read. Maybe a little premature, and he scores. If he makes that catch, he's doubled up.
It's one of those that you would say, grown man hit that ball. Just a little blooper behind the mound, and it scores the tying run. Ned Yost and the Royals in a heap of trouble here in the 6th. Kelvin Herrera is called down out of the pen. Bottom half of the 6th inning, and the Orioles, who trailed 5-1 in this game, have rallied. They've tied it here in the bottom half of the 6th. And a little blooper behind the mound. Escobar can't quite get there. Tying run scores. Escobar may have gotten a little shaken up on that play.
They braced his right arm out there on the dive and jars it a little bit, stretching it out, try to get it loose. It's his throwing arm.
Dare we say the Orioles playing a little small ball here against the Royals.
Well, here's Herrera, normally the 7th inning guy. In an ideal world for Ned Yost, he gets there, and as Cal pointed out a short time ago, you go Herrera, you go Wade Davis, you go Greg Holland. Well, with Brandon Finnegan unable to record an out, here's Herrera inheriting a 1st and 2nd situation in what is now a tie game, and he faces Adam Jones. Turned him around, 1-0.
Well, that's the other factor with Herrera, is that he will throw some pitches up and in. His ball moves so much and he throws so hard. I wouldn't say it's a fear factor with a hitter, but you have to be conscious of that ball in.
A flamethrower in Herrera facing some fastball hunters in Baltimore.
It's almost a 3/4 onslaught that the ball will get out and run.
Missed at 97, 2-0. Had a good cut, and it's 2-1.
No, you're mentioning that he is the 7th inning man. Most of the times Herrera will start an inning. He will not come in with 2 runners on base. Makes it a little easier for him.
Jones has already knocked in one of Baltimore's runs tonight. Go-ahead run is out there at 2nd. Tapped up toward 3rd. Moustakas steps on the bag, throws across. Bounces away from Hosmer. And the runner moves to 3rd. That's Diaza. Tough throw to handle for Hosmer at 1st.
Well, throwing has been an issue for Moustakas. 7 errors in his last 19 regular season games. So he has struggled, not in catching the baseball, but sometimes delivering it.
With a little rain on the field, the ball could be a little wet. I wouldn't anticipate that it would be. It just looked like he didn't get his feet down and behind him.
It's been in the forecast. We've been waiting for it all day, hoping it would pass us by, but it's here. Rain in the 6th. To short. Escobar to 2nd for 1. To 1st. Double play. Huge double play for the Kansas City Royals, and Kelvin Herrera keeps the game tied at 5.
It's October at the MLB.com shop. That means it's the time of year to celebrate, represent, and show your colors. Get all the officially licensed merchandise for every postseason team, with caps, hoodies, jackets, and more. Everything you need to dress like a champ. Grab your gear now at the MLB.com shop. Therein are you.
Royals 5, Orioles 5. As we head to the 7th, it's Chevy Truck Month. Time when truck guys like our associate directors Billy Proctor and Daryl Bernardo depend on great offers on the 2014 North American Truck of the Year, Chevy Silverado. Well, how about this for an opener as we head to the 7th? Rain falling. Kansas City leading 5-1. Orioles charging back to tie. Gausman outside to Aoki, 1-0.
He got a nice run on his fastball. That two-seamer away to a lefty at 97.
And Aoki wants time. It's tougher to do. Pitch in the rain, Ron. Hit in the rain, Cal.
Oh, it's got to be hitting, doesn't it?
It's really the tenacity of the rain. I mean, it's difficult to get a grip, but also when the bill of the cap starts dripping with water down in front of your face, that's when it becomes a huge problem. Not there yet.
Well, the helmet drips, and the bat is really hard to hold on to. It's just not rain. Rain is not fun to play in.
There's a strike. 2-1.
Because the feel and the grip of the ball is so important for the pitcher and the infielders, and the feel of the bat. You know, once you get your grip with your pine tar and you got your gloves on, you don't want to take your hand off the bat and let the rain get in there.
Aoki has a single and 3 trips and has scored a run. And Gausman falls behind 3-1 as Aoki leads it off here in the 7th. Lorenzo Cain waiting on deck. Orioles haven't gotten him out yet tonight. And there is a leadoff walk here in the 7th. Kansas City did the same thing, and it cost him in the 6th. Here's Escobar coming off the field after the 6th inning and after that dive that he made in the infield.
It looks like a jarring of the shoulder, although it might have been something with his hand on that last play. With the ball, sometimes you get your hand in front of the glove before it goes in. That's what he's describing, and it pinches your the nail. Sometimes it causes blood. Just a little too quick with his hand in the glove.
Gerard Dyson. And we talk about that speed factor with the Kansas City Royals, and there's one element of it. Guy who normally comes on as a pinch runner and defensive replacement. He'll probably go to right field now for Aoki, or to center, and Cain will move over to right.
Talking to Ned Yost, he will play this card, and he even said, I will do it in situations even with Aoki, because I'm going to make the switch defensively anyway. This is a tie ball game, and Dyson is a game changer when he gets to first base.
The wet track has to be an issue, though, you would think, here with the rain that's fallen already.
Mother Nature's answer to the running game. Dyson with the lead. Pierce well off the bag as he holds him, and now it goes back, and Gausman throws over.
Yeah, it's interesting that far off the bag. It's not so he gets a better move towards the hole to cover the hole. It is to change the look and actually create something different for the base runner. Maybe to fake back to first base. Just give him something else to think about.
Dyson got 36 bags this year in 43 attempts. Cain takes a strike. Dyson, the first Royal since Carlos Beltran to have 3 straight seasons of 30+ stolen bases. He's the go-ahead run with nobody out. Cain takes down low, 1-1.
It's almost like they're taking Pierce out of position. See the coach Jershly, Cain, and Dyson on first base. They're bringing him off the bag around 10 feet and having him break back to the bag every single time like a play is on. So it's taken him out of position, but it's confused Dyson so far.
It's a designed to confuse.
Throw over, and that was closer. But Dyson back safely.
You might get Rusty to say back, you know, on a fake move. It doesn't put you in a good tag position. Doesn't allow you to actually execute on the pickoff play over. But it's something that they don't see too often. It's something new.
To a man, Kansas City base runners credit first base coach Rusty Kuntz with helping them develop as base runners. Throw over again, and he just got back. Well, Buck Showalter thinks maybe he didn't get back. Is he going to come out and challenge? I don't think he needs to.
No, and that's a good example right there. By playing off, you're not in a position to catch the ball and make a tag. You got to catch it and take the tag back to first base. And Dyson gets back to the back corner of the bag. The ball will travel much faster than you can move your glove. You catch it there and then try to move it at the same speed. Doesn't work.
There's been a couple of times where Earl's been picked off. This is the first time I've seen Dyson confused at first.
He was definitely going.
He's just itching to steal second base and has been leaning on those last two throwovers. Meantime, it's 1-1 to Kane.
This is the cat and mouse game here. Clearly, you can't let him steal second base. The problem is the more he sees this new setup off of first base, the more comfortable he gets with it too.
And can the young Gosman concentrate and make sure he makes a pitch when he eventually has to Kane?
One more time over.
The interesting part about this play is the timing of between the pitcher and Pierce. Pierce moves too early. Dyson can go back earlier.
Well, that's what they're hoping then. They're hoping he keys off his movement. That's the whole design of the play. That's why you can fake. If you can start to condition him to go back upon my move, then you don't get a good jump.
Ron, is Gosman thinking more about Dyson than Kane right now?
You hope he's not, because at some point he's going to have to deliver a pitch to Kane, third place hitter in this lineup.
Tried to check his swing. And it's 1-2. Tim Timmons made the call.
To bring up a good point, though, that's what this Kansas City speed does to a pitcher. Makes you worry and makes you think about it. And you might not execute that pitch to home plate.
Runner going on the 1-2. And Dyson has it stolen. And then he came off the bag. Jonathan Scope stayed with the tag. Dyson came off.
Gets a good jump, steals it, beats the throw there, but his speed takes him off the bag, and Jonathan Scope just makes sure by placing a little bit of a harder tag on him. These Orioles, Scope and Hardy, they both get to the bag early. They straddle the bag. They're in a good position athletically to catch it and make the tag.
You saw daylight in between his toe and the bag. Scope kept the tag on, and the result is an out. And there's a strike three called to Kane. Buck Showalter on his way to the mound. Big Andrew Miller is on his way in. Buck Showalter said you can't stop the running game for Kansas City. You try to contain it, try to control it. Mission accomplished here in the seventh. Jonathan Scope's a pretty strong kid, and it helped him out here.
Well, I mean, again, the key in my opinion is you get to the bag early in an athletic position straddling the bag, so he's got an anchor. Dyson comes in so fast, and he can't hold the bag, and then runs into the leg, and Jonathan just helps his leg come off the bag with the tag. And there's the gap right there. And that's the difference in the replay now. Years ago, you might not get that call.
The difference between the replay and not catching that ball in front of the bag, straddling the bag. Many infielders don't do it today. The Orioles middle infielders do.
Yeah, that is the new school. Everybody takes the ball in front of the bag and then tries to go back or reach back. I'm of the opinion, and it's proven here today, that when you get to the bag, you're in an athletic position to make a good tag, to make a good block, to make a good catch and tag.
Orioles.
They do it well.
Excuse me, Cal. The Orioles go to Andrew Miller, who's been dynamite.
Dynamite since coming over. Late season trade or middle of the season trade for Andrew Miller. Outstanding as an Oriole.
Got him in a trade with the Red Sox, and he faces the left-hander, Eric Hosmer. Hosmer struck out his first 2 times against Chris Tillman, and then bounced out to second in the 5th. Nobody on, 2 down. Little 96 with Flames for you, Cal. 2-1.
I was watching the location more than the Flames that time.
Breaking pitch stayed inside. 3-1.
We're talking about Markakis keeping his nose in there. Hosmer also keeps his nose in there. But here's that arm angle that just buckles Hosmer just a little bit, and the ball never gets back to the inside corner.
Three balls, 1 strike. Line drive, right field, base hit. Hosmer with a 2-out single. How big is that Dyson play now? It's only the 2nd time the Royals have had a runner caught stealing in this postseason. He came in 12 out of 13. Previously, the only guy caught was Hosmer on a play in which Billy Butler wandered off of first base, got hung up. Hosmer tried to score, and they threw him out at the plate.
So not really a conventional throw out of either runner, because Dyson actually beat the play there and came off the base.
Still forgetting, I think, how good that play by Scope was. The throw by Hundley was on a bounce and still backhanded it and got it back to the bag in the time to make that play.
Billy Butler has a couple of hits. He scored a run, and he knocked one in with a sacrifice fly in the 5th. That put the Royals on top 5-1 at the time. Hosmer after the 2-out single. Short lead at first, and Butler takes down low.
We've talked a lot about the trio of Herrera, Davis, and Holland. Well, Miller starts the trio for the Orioles. Miller, Darren O'Day, and Zach Britton. Troubling part for both teams, it comes in a tie game, not with one team ahead.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Butler. High and away, and the count full. Miller pitched 3 1/3 in the Tigers series. No hits, no runs, 3 strikeouts and a walk. And he just got Billy Butler looking for the 3rd out here in the 7th. The top of the 7th will be remembered for this. Gerard Dyson with all that speed. The toe comes off the bag. Scope applies it. We're still tied. Head to the bottom half of the 7th inning in a 5-5 game. Game 1 of the American League Championship Series here on TBS. Got some rain falling here at Camden Yards. You got a tie game. And this was a series going in. People said, well, who do you like in this one? You got such a battle of wills with these contrasting styles. This has been great stuff here in the opener, Cal.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, it's all about the execution, and Kansas City has executed all the way around except tonight. Salvador Perez had him picked off in between, and then
Escobar throws the ball away.
And exactly right. Moustakas also throws the ball over at first base. So they are prone to the error, but their execution hasn't been perfect like it's been so far.
But it's interesting. We thought this would be a bullpen series at some point. It's in the bullpen with the game tied. Who's going to blink first? That's where we're at right now in this ballgame.
It's been the story of Game 1 here in the American League Championship Series. Gerard Dyson, after pinch running, having second stolen, but coming off the bag for the out, remains in the game in center field. Lorenzo Cain makes his traditional move to right field here in the late innings. Kelvin Herrera, who came on in the 6th, on the mound here in the 7th, facing Steve Pearce.
Well, think about it this way. Ned Yost wanted to pitch Brandon Finnegan in the 6th to get to Herrera in the 7th. He didn't go to Herrera, but now Herrera's stuck with pitching the 6th, which he got through, and the 7th.
Got a huge double play ball on a Nelson Cruz to end the 6th. Kept the go-ahead run from scoring.
With Dyson running, it looks like the track is not too muddy. He ran pretty well to second base. But I would say that the grass now, since it's been raining a little longer, you got to make sure you get a good grip on the ball on any ground ball.
Strike 1 to Steve Pearce. And then Herrera quickly out in front. 0-2.
Not a lot of science to Herrera throwing, is there? Just rear back and let it go. I was saying his hat is a little askew, but certainly not his pitches.
Tried to paint the corner. Didn't get the call. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Pierce lined to center his first time. Hit a ball to the gap in the 3rd. Alex Gordon made a sliding great play for the final out of the 3rd. He walked in the 5th. He leads off the bottom half of the 7th. That will be easy for Cain. 1 down. We saw Alcides Escobar earlier, kind of looking like he was shaken up. You got anything on that, Matt?
Yeah, Escobar left the field shaking his right hand. He briefly exited the dugout and headed to the clubhouse for a few minutes. Came back. He was playing with his right ring finger. He actually put some liquid on it. We think it may have been alcohol to clean what may have been a wound, but he gave me the thumbs up, and obviously he's back out there at the shortstop position.
Here's J.J. Hardy.
I guess if we go back and look at that double play ball, I'm pretty sure that you put the finger in the glove ready for the transfer before the ball actually got there. It's happened many times to myself. It nicks you on the way in. Equivalent of hitting yourself with a hammer on the nail. Yeah, he's putting his hand in to make the transfer to close it over top, and his hand just comes in a little bit too soon, and the ball hits his nail on the way in. Lucky it's on the ring finger and not on the index finger or the middle finger.
You know he'd be out there, though, man after your own heart, Cal. Played 162 this year.
One of only 4 players in baseball to do it. Evan Longoria joined him in the American League. Freddie Freeman, Hunter Pence in the National League. Played all 162. Cal only did that 10 times in his career.
And once you do it once, you figure out you can do it. You only need once.
1-2 to J.J. Hardy. Misses 2-2.
Ned Yost was talking about Escobar. I mean, mentally, you know, is the real challenge by going out there every day. And Escobar proves he can do that. Physically, you're going to have your bumps and bruises, and obviously he can play through those. It's mentally how you keep a good frame of mind each and every day.
Powered it by him at 98. 2 down here in the 7th. That's gnarly right there.
Looks like he bites his nails is what I'd guess.
I think it looks like more than that.
Well, your hands get beat up for sure. You're taking ground balls every day. You're using them every day.
Here's Ryan Flaherty. Huge base hit his last time. Knocked in 2 runs in that 3-run 5th. These guys hit, what, 455 in the first series with 2 out and runners in scoring position, and Flaherty delivered with 2 out in the 5th.
You know, there's been a lot of themes watching all these postseason games, 1-run games, most of them. But I think another theme is there are 11 guys in that bullpen, but really you only want to use about 8 of them. And expanding the roles of these bullpen guys is the theme that we're going to see moving forward.
Managers do have off days in which to plan for. You know, when you're playing in the regular season, they wouldn't make those moves when you're behind or you need tie games, because you don't know if you're going to play one-run games in your favor, like 3 in a row. So you want to win the games that you can, and you have to conserve your guys for the course of the year. But in the playoffs, all that's out the window.
Only 3 times did Herrera go 2 innings this season.
Three balls and a strike to the Orioles' third baseman.
This is a ball you're 100% sure you're going to get a fastball. It's probably going to be 98 or 99. You might want to start a little early on this one. And he anticipated it was going to be a strike and did start early. Couldn't hold back.
So at some point a guy throws so hard you can't identify the ball and then react with the swing. You sometimes have to start it early.
If you're swinging really, really well, then you can identify it. But that's the speed of the velocity of a pitcher on the mound that you have to start to time that.
And if you need evidence as to how hard Kelvin Herrera is rushing it up there, we need a new mitt for Salvador Perez.
Well, when he pitches 2 innings, you need 2 gloves. That's how it works.
It's interesting to me because I always maintained a backup as a glove in case something broke in the course of the game. But I can't imagine catchers doing that. I mean, it takes a pounding It looks like a much newer glove coming in.
Swung on and missed. Ball gets away, and Perez to complete the strikeout makes the toss to first. 1-2-3, 7th inning. We're tied heading to the 8th. MLB fans, you can join the biggest 7th inning stretch with your best Take Me Out to the Ball game. You might be featured in Game 4 of the World Series. Now we head to the top half of the 8th inning. Two of the biggest hits of this game. One came from the guy at the plate, Alex Gordon, broken bat double that scored 3 runs. Alejandro Diaza hit a little blooper in the infield that landed behind the mound and scored a run. Andrew Miller came on in the 7th and starts here in the 8th. That was off the mask. Kind of came off the bat funny over the backstop.
I think it came off the bat, hit Hundley, and then came up and hit Tim Timmons. No, straight there. Thought it caught a little of Hundley, but did not.
It's possible it caught the glove and then the mask. Looked like it might have deflected off the glove.
Gordon was called out on strikes his first time. Then that broken bat, bases clearing double in the 3rd, singled in the 5th, and was picked off. Ooh, Miller just hit him. Obviously no intent in a playoff game, tied up in the 8th inning, leading off. But you guys have talked about it. We're playing in rain here. It's a wet baseball.
Relievers being pushed in the 2nd inning. I just don't know if it caught any part of the helmet. Did it catch him just straight in the neck?
Yeah, it looked really high up. I couldn't tell. I was waiting for the replay to see. It looks like neck. Yeah.
That's Nick Kenny, the trainer, who's gotten some experience doing that in the postseason. Remember when Perez took the backswing from Josh Hamilton, put him through the battery of tests, and he was doing the same thing with Alex Gordon here in the 8th. And look at this pitch. Yeah, it rides right up the shoulder and then the neck.
Yeah, it looks like it does hit him in the shoulder first. Ricochets up, gets part of the helmet, but it got a lot of his neck.
He's got a kind of a smile on his face, trying to clear his head at first. Scary scene here, Camden Yards.
You hear people say that'll leave a mark. There you go.
Well, you know, Cal was talking about how Marquez sticks his nose there, and it's not always easy for left-handers against tough left-handers who throw 3/4 like Miller. Gordon stayed in there, and it got him to hit by pitch, but
even
in a dangerous area.
Even on the early breaking ball, he was staying in there, and the ball stayed inside. He almost got hit there. Clearly covering for a breaking ball, and the fastball just gets away.
Add to that, 6'7" coming at you, lefty. Here's Perez. Breaking pitch over, 0-1. Perez has never laid down a sacrifice bunt. If you're wondering if Ned Yost might be thinking along those lines. 0-2. Darren O'Day loosening in the Oriole pen.
It's interesting. We talked to Ned. Ned would pinch run for Perez. So my question is, why wouldn't he pinch hit the bunt for him?
Miller just struck him out, 1 down. Hey, Mike Bordick, what you got?
Yeah, well, just talking about this Orioles bullpen here, a tie ball game. You know, roles get changed in the postseason. You guys were talking about that. It's not like the regular season. Sure, Andrew Miller pitched the 7th inning, Darren O'Day the 8th inning, and then Zach Britton the 9th inning for the Orioles. But here in the postseason, it's been different. Buck Showalter's had to manage differently. The first game of the ALDS, Andrew Miller ended up pitching an inning and 2/3, more than he'd pitched since the end of August. So guys get stretched out, but guys are prepared for it. Buck Showalter let them know that their roles are going to be changed and be prepared for anything.
Here's Omar Infante. Tried to check his swing, but couldn't hold up. As Marvin Hudson says, you went.
Well, he definitely went there to talk about what Mike Bordick just said. Buck Showalter said, hey, listen, everyone's available, and we'll try to eke out a win today. We'll figure out tomorrow. Great way to think in the postseason.
Gordon with the lead at first. 0-2 to Infante.
Well, Buck is famous for setting the expectations. He'll do that during the regular season, and he'll live by it. And then in the playoffs, he will change on how he manages, and he makes sure he lets every one of those players know to be ready for these kind of changes.
Infante got his first hit of this postseason in the 6th. Miller missing at 95.
Almost like Miller just shows that fastball away to the right-handed hitters to get back to that back foot slider.
And that's a deceptive breaking ball, too. Fools the right-handers just as much as it fools the lefties.
The 1-2 is popped up. Pierce has room by the Orioles dugout. 2 down. Big league personnel have always liked the potential of Andrew Miller. When he was traded to Florida in 2007, it was part of the Miguel Cabrera deal. He was with the Red Sox. Started some games, came out of the pen. This move to Baltimore has been so key for the Orioles. ERA of $1.35 in 23 games out of the pen.
Much like the other left-hander in the pen, the closer Zach Britton, they're guys that were penciled in to be starters in their career, stars, but didn't really find their way and have found their home in the bullpen.
Mike Moustakas takes inside. The Royals' third baseman is 0 for 3 tonight. Ned Yost Royals had a 5-1 lead in this game. Ron Culpa said he went 1-1.
Held his wrist up pretty well, but the bat head gets out over the plate. Sometimes that's what they look for.
One ball and 2 strikes. Moustakas in game 1 of the American League Division Series in extra innings. Going deep in Anaheim.
And Millie really knows how to put you away with 2 strikes. Opponents are batting .064 with 2 strikes off of him. You don't want to fall behind this guy.
He went. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Andrew Miller. Middle of the 8th. Still tied. What a beaut. Game 1 of the ALCS, bottom half of the 8th, all tied up. Kansas City goes to Wade Davis. One 1-0 to Nick Hundley, the Orioles catcher.
Again, historically great numbers by Davis this season. He did give up a run in his last appearance against the Angels in Game 3.
Popped up. Who's going to call? Who's going to call? It's Hosmer. Hosmer and Moustakas kind of converged and looked at each other, and then Hosmer made the play.
And Wade Davis just got out of dodge. But we saw earlier on the pop-up, Steve Pearce caught at first base. He struggled to catch it in foul territory. Tough with the raindrops.
That's tough in the corners. They got a long way to come. Hosmer had a little bit better angle and took charge. But you're right, sometimes you're looking up through the raindrops as the ball comes down.
One down for Jonathan Scope. Scope is 0 for 2. He walked and scored a run in the 6th. And when he scored, it tied the game. But it's the play he made defensively, keeping the tag on Gerard Dyson, who had swiped second but came off the bag just a hair and was called out. It was a huge play in a tie game.
Scope's size definitely had a factor in that. Most smaller second basemen, well, Dyson kind of pushes their foot out of the way. Could not push Scope out of the way.
Davis hasn't allowed a homer since August 24th of 2013. And he gets Scope swinging for the second out. Let's take a look at tonight's playmakers presented by the all-new Chrysler 200. Nick Markakis and Nelson Cruz. Markakis at the top of that Orioles order. And he steps to the plate here in the 8th. 3 out of 4 and has scored a run. Fly ball, right field, routine. 1, 2, 3 inning for Wade Davis. Possibility of a Royals game going extra innings? No. We move to the top half of the 9th here at Camden Yards. Little rain not going to dampen any enthusiasm here in Game 1 of the ALCS. Follow the postseason with MLB.com. At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball, highlights, scores, live radio broadcasts, replay reviews, and more. Get the At Bat app. At Bat for Kansas City here in the 9th, top of the order. Alcides Escobar, who homered in the 3rd. And he faces Zach Britton, who's had a tremendous year.
Tremendous year, very unusual. Johnny Venters, who pitched for the Braves before being shelved for Tommy John surgery, had a sinking fastball from the left side. He's got one of the best sinkers from the left side in all of baseball.
71 games. Fouled off the right side. 1.65 ERA and 37 out of 41 in the save department.
It's almost like you don't do it justice by calling it just a sinker, because it's powerful and it moves really late and it kind of runs. And it is different than anybody else in the league. Produces a lot of ground balls, and it allows you to pitch in the center of a plate in your 2-0-3-1.
He's ahead of Escobar, 1-2.
Now things can come full circle sometimes. Zach Britton became the closer for Buck Showalter's Orioles on May 15th at Kansas City.
Count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gerard Dyson on deck. Ned Yost's team has won 3 extra inning games out of the 4 they've played this postseason. That's in the dirt. Count 3-2. Are we headed there, or can the Royals break through here in the 9th?
Huge pitch here, because Britton's pitches appear to be in the strike zone and usually end up out of the strike zone. Can Escobar have the discipline?
Payoff pitch by Britton. Leadoff walk here in the 9th. Steve Physiak, what you got?
Ernie, all of Kansas City knows about the Royals' success in postseason, winning 3 straight extra inning games, but Dayton Moore always goes back to that wild card victory in 12 innings when Salvador Perez won it. And I said, what impressed you after that? And he said, body language. I watched the team come out of the dugout onto the on-deck circle, and then I watch him in the on-deck circle, and then I watch him walk from the on-deck circle to the batter's box, and there's a different look of confidence with this team, particularly in the late innings, and he'd love to see that now with a speed guy on and a speed guy up.
Dyson at the plate. Ryan Flaherty almost in his lap coming in at 3rd. Flaherty charges. Dyson squared and took it. 1-0.
If I was playing 3rd, this is where I'd want to pick off move to first base just to get an indication. Are you still squaring on the 1-0 pitch? They could put the runner in motion, but I'd want to know something. I want to get some sort of indication that gives me the chance to aggressively charge.
Missed again, 2-0. Wonder what the track is like out there now, too. An inning ago, they came out and replaced the scraper on the mound that you can scrape your cleats off. That thing was so gunked up, and you saw when Escobar was at the plate, he was trying to pound the mud out of his cleats. He's the runner at first. Dyson's the hitter. 2 balls and no strikes. There's the throw over.
Oh, interesting there. Did not even step over it, Zach Britton. That could have been called. Almost like a nervous throw over there to first base.
And no strikes. Dyson trying to give himself up with a sacrifice bunt.
You talk about there's 2 different surfaces out there. There's the clay from the mound, and clay is also in the batter's box. That will gum up a little bit more on your shoes. The regular dirt is firm, but it's not the clay variety, so that won't stick in your shoes so much.
3-0 missed. Back-to-back walks to open the 9th.
And certainly Dave Wallace, the pitching coach, the veteran pitching coach, will come out here and have a talk with his young left-hander. Could be nerves. I think it's possibly the field also, the feel. But it's shaping up like a Kansas City Royal inning. Was it just a great at-bat by Escobar, I thought, to be able to be disciplined, take that pitch on 3-2, and then Dyson, none of the pitches were even close.
Talked about them being architects. They manufacture runs. Haven't put the ball in play here, and they've got a rally going here in the ninth. Keep in mind, they stole third 29 times to lead Major League Baseball.
Now Lorenzo Cain is their third hitter. Do you bunch your third hitter in first and second, no outs in the first playoff game? I think you do. Or you at least square around to see if you get a ball or a strike, so to maybe work a count in your favor.
Make Britton throw a strike, which he did not do to Dyson. Runners lead from first and second. Cain squares. They check to see if he had offered at that. They say he didn't. It's 1-0.
Buck almost came flying out of the dugout. He thought that Cain had offered at that.
Yeah, no chance.
No chance. He pulled it back in time.
Great look from our crew. Scott Cockrell, Lonnie Dale at the controls tonight. A lot of the pictures really telling the story of this game one. Same deal. Pulled back. Took it low. 2-0. Britton's thrown 12 pitches. 10 of them have missed the strike zone.
Well, Cain, like Perez, has not laid down a sacrifice bunt, but he sure looks like he knows what he's doing. He's got good form, and maybe he's just taking and he's fooling us to get a strike.
Hundley working on a shin guard back there.
Oh, doing a little eye exercises with Lorenzo Cain there. I've known from being on that mound, you get to a point sometime where you don't know if you can throw a strike. You get on that kind of serious bad roll.
Three balls and no strikes.
This is a tactic that usually works in Little League or lower levels where a guy will fake a bunt and the pitcher can't throw a strike. It seems to be working here with the last two hitters, Dyson and Cain.
Britton with a stern look and a nod as if to say, I got this.
Britton's totally lost his release point here on his sinker. Sometimes you can correct that by throwing a breaking ball.
Three straight walks to open the ninth.
We talked this entire game about pushing your relievers. Do you sometimes have to take your reliever that's been there for you all season long when he's having this kind of evening?
Orioles pitching had allowed 2 walks coming into the ninth. Britton walks Escobar, Dyson, and Cain and brings Hosmer to the plate. Go-ahead run 90 feet away. That's Escobar. The speedy Dyson at second. The speedy Cain at first. Zach Britton has thrown 11 straight pitches out of the strike zone. Here's Hosmer. 12 straight.
And they've all been down.
It hasn't made any adjustments, and you're right. Hasn't thrown a breaking ball, just keeps throwing that sinker. Kansas City refuses to bite.
So the conservative play if you're Hosmer is to take. You don't want to risk getting yourself out here, but you're also there to drive the run in. You could see what his decision was.
The wrong decision, I think. Not a smart play there by Eric.
Waved at a pitch that wound up out of the strike zone. And did Britton a favor. 1-1. That missed. 2-1.
It could have been called, but when you're the home plate umpire and all you see is ball after ball after ball, it's hard to open up that strike zone. And that was right on the edge.
It's a good breaking ball. And that looks like the pitch he has the most command of right now.
Better job by Hosmer of laying off of that pitch. 2-1.
Looks like he's going back to his fastball again.
Two balls, two strikes.
Houdini didn't have this in his playbook. If Britton can get out of this.
Escobar with good speed at third, fly ball. Brings the go-ahead run in. A Royal on every base. Three and two. "15 of his 19 pitches, balls. A bad one here forces in the go-ahead run. Tap to first. They'll come to the plate. They got him. What a pick by Hundley at the plate on a ball. It was grounded to first, and Pierce bounced it to the plate. Ned Yost is going to take his time coming out.
He's
going to see if he's got a beef.
He's going to challenge this, I believe. I think he feels that Hundley came off home plate to catch that ball. That was a bad throw, really, by Pierce. It looked like he was out, that he stayed there.
And does he hold the ball cleanly? That might be the issue. Look, he's got it in the heel of his glove, comes down like that. Does he have it or does he not?
He has it.
Looks like he clearly keeps the foot on the bag. I'm not so sure if the ball had actually come out of the glove a little bit from that angle.
Boy, give Nick Hundley credit. That is a tough catch to make. And the question was, did he keep the toe on the plate? And Tim Timmons said yes, he did. One bullet dodged by the Orioles here in the ninth. We're throwing to the plate for the force. Watch the feet.
So his foot definitely on the base, in my opinion.
And what you love about Tim Timmons, he has his foot to see, is he on the plate? And watch, see the catcher? Hundley shows him, even though it's a snow cone, that he showed to the umpire that by an inch, I've handled the ball.
And it looks like it stays stuck in that heel of the glove.
What a play by Hundley.
And Pierce for not stepping on first base. If he steps on first base, it's not a force out at home.
And there's no way on that throw, with that throw, that you're able to make that tag. Pierce has had great reactions. The hand on the top of the head when he saw Gordon with the broken bat double earlier. And now waiting to exhale as he makes the throw to the plate for the first out. Bases are still loaded. Darren O'Day is the new pitcher. About scrapes his knuckles on the dirt when he delivers. Comes from down under.
And what you love about Darren O'Day is the guy that comes in and gets ground balls. Billy Butler hits into a lot of double plays, and he's 1 for 11 off Darren O'Day in his career.
They're at double play depth.
Buck Showalter is counting on this double play. He's saying that I have a team defense that can execute this double play, and I'm not afraid to push back the third baseman and keep the middle up. Now, Pierce at first base has the option. Depending upon the ground ball, he can come home.
Strike from O'Day to Billy Butler. The runner at third is Gerard Dyson.
Billy Butler's been 3 for 5 with runners in scoring position in the postseason. He's done a lot of that damage to right center field.
Sails outside, 1-1.
He swung the bat really good in September. Staying to the middle part of the field, had a sacrifice fly to right center field earlier in the game. In these situations, he's very good at using the center of the field and staying on the ball.
Go-ahead run at third. Royals lead from every bag as O'Day works to Butler, who steps out. Back to 1-1.
When you look at the outfielder arms, 2 of the 3 have very good arms. You saw Adam Jones earlier, flanked by Markakis, who has a good arm, accurate arm. Diaz probably has the weakest arm of those 3.
It'll have to be a shallow fly ball, and it'll have to be a great throw with Dyson at third.
It seems like Markakis and Adam Jones are playing a little shallow, anticipating an opportunity.
The 1-2. Again outside, and Butler wouldn't offer 2-2.
It's almost like Buck can't watch at times.
Chess match, battle of wills. Rain falling, 9th inning, American League Championship Series. Butler just reached out and stayed alive.
This is one of those situations, if you're the infielder, you got to think, okay, every ground ball has to be a double play ball. So you might want to shorten up just a little bit and start to anticipate. You have to execute on a double play ball or you fall behind in the game.
Because of Billy's lack of speed, even if you have to go to your left or right, you can still turn it.
This is a battle. O'Day and Butler.
It's supposed to be a sinking fastball in, but O'Day's pumped up, so this ball has been twice going inside. It's been up in the strike zone.
O'Day has used, he's one of the rare sinker ballers that actually uses a fastball up in the strike zone as a strikeout pitch. Change the eye level, try to use it more as a power fastball up, thinking you're looking down for that one.
The 2-2. Grounded to Hardy. There's one. There's two. The Orioles turn an inning-ending double play. The game's still tied in the ninth. Hardy. Jonathan Stope with the turn. Steve Pearce held the bag. We're going to the bottom of the ninth. Place is up for grabs. Camden Yards, bottom of the ninth, game 1 of the ALCS. Orioles had 10 walk-off wins, one of those on a wild pitch. The others came on 9 game-winning hits by 9 different players. Piazza leads it off against Wade Davis in the bottom half of the ninth. He hit a ball about 70 feet that knocked in a run. A little blooper over the mound that Escobar couldn't grab.
He couldn't have thrown it in a better place, I don't think.
Zach Britton. Darren O'Day. Thanks for picking me up. That's the message there.
Wade Davis only threw 7 pitches in the 8th inning, so still plenty strong here for the 9th.
Ronnie, you were wondering about if there was a Houdini act in the house, and there indeed was in the top half of the 9th inning. Bases loaded, nobody out, and they do not score. Piazza waves at that. Perez throws down to first. 1 down here in the bottom of the 9th.
Piazza was a threat, and now he's struck out, but this is the 2 biggest threats coming up for the Orioles. In Jones and Cruz.
Yeah, the 3-4 hitters. Jones and Cruz have both knocked in runs.
They've gotten in on Adam Jones tonight with a fastball. Wade Davis has that 4-seam fastball and a cutter.
Buck Showalter told us earlier tonight in our between innings interview that Adam Jones a little frustrated in that first series against the Tigers. He was held in check. Strike from Davis, 0-1.
We saw those career walk-off hits for Adam Jones. 5 for 21 off Wade Davis. One of those hits, a home run.
.97 from the right-hander. 0-2. He struck him out on 3 pitches, 2 down here in the 9th.
He's got 3 really good strikeout pitches. He can go 98 miles an hour up, or he can go 93 in this slider cutter. And not too many people throw a ball that breaks like a slider that hard. And then if you are on that somewhat, then he has a bigger curveball that he can finish you off with.
The Cruz chant went up. Nelson Cruz steps to the plate. 40 home runs, 108 runs batted in. But the top 10 home run hitters in the AL were 0 for 15 this season against Wade Davis. Did he have a cut? 1-1.
There's many things that makes Nelson Cruz so difficult to pitch to. One of them, though, and the most important, is that he can go coast to coast. Hit a home run to right field as well as left field. Good breaking ball there by Davis.
Taking you back 3 years. It's the anniversary. Walk-off grand slam by Nelson Cruz. The Tigers have seen far too much of him, no matter what uniform. Kansas City's Wade Davis trying to take care of business here in the bottom half of the 9th. And he does. Davis strikes out the side. We are heading to extra innings in Game 1 of the ALCS. On TNT opening night 2014, presented by Autotrader.com. When the NBA champs, the San Antonio Spurs, take on the Dallas Mavericks, and then it's the Houston Rockets and the Lakers. It all begins Tuesday, October 28th, only on TNT. Well, this is nothing new for the Kansas City Royals going to extra innings in a postseason game. This is their 5th and their 4th game going to extra innings.
It's just amazing how resilient this team is to not score in the top of the 9th, after having the bases loaded on 3 walks. You just feel like destiny's fallen off or out of your dugout, but got through that 9th with great pitching by Davis.
In the course of those extra inning games, the Royals becoming the first team to win 3 straight postseason extra inning games, and the first team to hit extra inning home runs in consecutive post games.
We've seen many shots of the Kansas City Royals dugout, and right there you're looking at, there seemed to be a little bit of a frustration in not being able to push that run across. Before, you've seen them celebrating and optimistic and moving around. They seem a little bit shell-shocked right now.
Well, the Orioles have left them loaded in this game. The Royals return the favor in the 9th after 3 straight walks, loaded the bases. Alex Gordon will lead it off against O'Day.
Interesting at bat here, right, for Gordon. Last time Miller hit him in the neck with a fastball. Now back in there.
Fooled him 1-1.
It was interesting. Before that pitch came, Hundley indicated by putting his hand behind Gordon so that Pierce could see it, let Pierce know a breaking ball was coming. Take 1 step closer to the line.
In the air to deep right. And the Kansas City Royals have taken the lead. Alex Gordon with a shot into the seats in right field, and the tie's been broken. Nick Markakis took about 1 step. Step up. And that was a dozen rows deep.
It's like a 2-seam fastball that stayed out over the plate. It was a big part of the bat, and there was a no-doubter.
His first home run of this postseason.
His last home run was September 3rd. It's been quite a drought. What a time to hit one.
Have a night, Alex Gordon.
O'Day with a 1-0 to Salvador Perez. It sails high and away. 2 balls and no strikes. Watch the reaction of Darren O'Day. Ned Yost and the Royals. Hey, there's life in that dugout now, Cal.
Only takes one swing. That's what we're used to seeing.
Three balls and no strikes. O'Day had worked magic in the 9th.
But if you include the postseason now, here at Camden Yards, he has given up 5 home runs in the last 6 2/3 innings pitched. So he's been bitten by the home run ball here. Wasn't it Alex Gordon who said, Kansas City Royals, we always seem to find a way. Someone does something. How about having an at-bat to hit the ball to the ballpark after the one before it got hit in the neck by a 97-mile-an-hour fastball? Impressive.
Salvador Perez with the base hit in the wild card game to cap the comeback. Mike Moustakas, game 1 of the division series. Eric Hosmer, game 2 of the division series in extra innings. And tonight, will this turn out to be the game winner? Alex Gordon crushes it to right. And the Royals on top, 6-5. And looking for insurance. Here's Infante with Perez at first.
We matched them up against the LA Angels offense. They scored runs, led the league in runs scored and their power there. And all they did was go out homer them. Coming in here, the Orioles are the major league leader in home runs. And it's the Kansas City Royals hitting the ball at the ballpark.
Perez, guess he threw over between taps, tapping his foot at first.
Well, Perez wasn't even taking a lead. He was taking that little league lead where you just have to hold the bag until the ball's delivered to the plate.
There's a strike to Infante. 1-1.
Again, that throw over wasn't designed to stop Perez from stealing second base. It was to see what was happening. Is it going to be a bunt play?
One perspective on this whole home run thing we've talked about with the Royals last in baseball and the Orioles first. George Brett said, look, if this Kansas City Royal team played in this ballpark, Camden Yards, believe me, we wouldn't be last in home runs. Mike Jerschele makes the play down there outside the third base coach's box and makes a friend here in Baltimore.
I think both home runs today would have been homers from Kansas City as well.
Tenth inning drama in game 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Infante. And O'Day got him for the first out. Steve Fisiak, it's a story with from your perspective at this point.
Well, before this year, Alex Gordon told me his proudest achievement was leading Nebraska to the College World Series, but this experience has eclipsed that because he said he spent so many years with this organization sitting on the couch in the offseason watching others in postseason and wondering what we could do to get better, and now he said we are there, and this is his proudest achievement.
Orioles going to call on Brian Mattis out of the bullpen here in the 10th. Kansas City has reclaimed the lead by 1. In the 9th, right side of your screen, Alex Gordon, who greeted him in the 10th with a bomb to right to break the tie. 6-5 Royals. And Brian Mattis has come on. He was not on the division series roster for Buck Showalter. Alex Gordon.
Well, without the beard, to me right now he looks like George Brett, but I don't know if it's because he looks like George or because of that big home run in a postseason game.
I can see the similarity with George.
Right?
And I've seen George hit a few of those balls, too, for homers.
So Brian Mattis comes in with a runner at first, 1 down. And the mission of keeping the Royals right where they are. Up by 1. Here's Mike Moustakas. up and in 1-0.
Madison, the game. It's interesting, right, that how managers are judged. You think to yourself, you think Buck Showalter might be kicking himself a little because he didn't replace Mattis to start that inning. Instead went with O'Day against the left-handed Gordon. That's a thought you could think about.
You could drive yourself crazy second
That's
guessing.
right, absolutely. But
Brock is the only one out in the bullpen left now. So maybe that was a consideration. I don't know how many innings you're going to play.
you know, sometimes in these games, guys, it seems like you play your last bullet. You know, you got out of an inning that you had no business getting out of. You had 2, 3, 4 hitters up in the next inning. That's the time that you think you're going to win it. Wade Davis had a say in that.
Perez edges away from first, and Moustakas swings and misses 2-2. It's a Friday night if you're just getting in. Kansas City led this game 5-1 at one point. The Orioles rallied to tie. And here in the 10th, Alex Gordon, a solo homer, has broken the tie. '27-year-old Brian Mattis, sixth pitcher of the night. This one's hit to right pretty well. Markakis is back, looks up. That's gone. Mike Moustakas with a 2-run shot here in the 10th. And the Royals unloading the long ball in extra innings. Stunned disbelief here at Camden Yards.
This looks like a little bit of a fastball right down the middle of the plate. And Moustakas has turned on the power here in the postseason. Off the back wall, clearly a home run.
Here's Escobar, takes a strike.
One home run in his last 163 regular season at-bats. Moose got 3 now in the post.
Ball and a strike. Now 1-2 to Escobar.
The Royals hitting it through the raindrops here in Baltimore.
How about these displays in extra innings? The flair for the dramatic by this team. And a 3-run cushion now. Markakis hardly had to move in right. 2 down.
When you ask Ned Yost, where do you go back to? In the regular season, no regular season, the wild card game. Being down 7-3 to John Lester, coming back. Being down in the 9th inning, coming back. Being down the 12th inning and winning the game. I mean, that's where he goes to. This team feels like they can win anytime, any day.
You see the discrepancy in runs via the home run, but tonight, Kansas City Royals dominating that category.
Well, since we covered them, you could see them getting more confident, more confident, more confident as you went on. Wasn't sure whether the layoff would have taken any of that momentum away, but they picked up right where they left off.
And this sets the stage for the Royals' lights-out closer, Greg Holland. Dyson with a swing and a miss, 0-2.
What I thought was interesting in that 7th inning, when things didn't go their way, they had a Dyson trying to steal the base. Scope kind of pushed him off and made the tag. It was the first time maybe you saw them lose their composure a little bit and got frustrated in that inning that things didn't go their way, but able to turn it around. As you saw Holland ready to pitch the 10th.
Dyson goes down swinging to end the 10th. But boy, did the Royals do some damage. Alex Gordon, solo. And Mike Moustakas, a 2-run shot. The Royals 3 outs away from a 1-0 lead. The 2014 PGA Grand Slam of Golf. It all starts this Tuesday, October 14th, 4 o'clock Eastern and Pacific on TNT. Well, here's Greg Holland on to try and close it out for the Kansas City Royals. Told you his story during the division series and going back to Asheville, North Carolina to be with his wife as she gave birth to their first son. Lorenzo Cain went through the same thing, his teammate. So did Britton on the Baltimore side. All in the last week. Swinging at the first pitch is Steve Pearce. Does Perez have room? He does, 1 down.
Finds the ball, throws his mask away so he doesn't step on it. Has just enough room to make the catch.
He's got some flair, doesn't he?
He does.
The Royal flush line has been used and overused and used in this booth in the course of this postseason. But tonight, Kansas City holding 3 jacks. And that's been the story of the game. Escobar, Gordon, Moustakas, and they're 2 outs away. Holland with the 0-1 to J.J. Hardy. And quickly 0-2.
Kind of think of their core players, and they've all gotten huge hits in the postseason. Perez started it in the wild card game. You had Moustakas, Hosmer, Gordon tonight.
Cal, from a hitter's perspective, what makes Holland so tough?
Well, he throws hard, and you have to defend against that fastball. So you want to try to go hunting early for the fastball. And then he has this disappearing slider.
That one right there?
That one. Looks just like his fastball. And you think it's going to break maybe laterally, but it also breaks straight down.
2 outs here in the 10th.
You know what's interesting about it? He falls so far off the first base. He has a different kind of spin on that slider. Sometimes it breaks straight down, sometimes it breaks down and into right-hander, and sometimes down away.
Brad Lidge's perfect year, very similar. He's got a good fastball, can throw it low in the strike zone, and then just gets over top of the breaking ball.
His 3rd hit of the night.
Another first pitch hit. 2 of the 3 here tonight on first pitches. Regular season, 442 average on the first pitch.
Nick Hundley will be lifted for a pinch hitter now. And it's the switch hitting Jimmy Paredes. One ball, no strikes. Paredes started the season with Kansas City. Went to Baltimore on July 24th, and he's trying to keep a Baltimore rally in the 10th alive with 2 out against his former mates.
In fact, he played third base while Moustakas was sent down in May to AAA.
You've got Delman Young sitting on the on-deck circle, waiting for an opportunity, waiting for a chance. He's been some performer in the postseason as well.
Doesn't matter what uniform he has on.
Missed again, 3-1. Another bad one brings the tying run to the plate here in the 10th. Three and two. Kansas City a strike away. Grounded pass first, but foul.
The ball might have been low.
Too tough to take, though, right, Cal?
Too tough to take.
Almost turns it into a hit down the line.
Does set up the breaking ball. He shook from the breaking ball to a fastball then. Has been known to throw a 3-2 breaking ball. And there it is.
The 3-2. Ball 4. The tying run will come to the plate here in the 10th.
Closest of pitches called the ball there by Tim Timmons. Breaking ball 3-2. You see Perez trying to yank that back in the strike zone.
Perez's framing of that tells you right away that it was a ball.
Got to watch Cruz. Got to watch Delman Young on first pitch. Very aggressive hitter.
No balls and 1 strike. Young came up huge in Game 2 of the Tigers series. Orioles were down in the 8th inning. Bases loaded double. Here he represents the tying run. Kansas City put 3 on the board in the top half of the 10th. Orioles trying to answer with 2 down. And right away, it's 0-2. Go back to Game 2 against the Tigers and Delman Young. Now they're into the corner. Cleared the bases and gave Baltimore the lead. Orioles lead from first and second, the 0-2 down low.
Only not as sharp, obviously, in this game. Hasn't given up a home run with a runner on to anyone in the last 172 innings pitched in the regular season.
Fouled straight back to the screen by Young.
Looking for a pitch to drive on the first two pitches. Didn't get one. Cut down his swing a little bit, but he had a good rip at that one right there. Outside corner a little bit up.
You saw Ryan Flaherty standing at second. He kept the Oriole inning alive with a 2-out single. Paredes drew a walk. Delman Young, the 1-2. Down low, count even. Nick Markakis and the top of the Baltimore order on deck.
We've seen a series of signs with no one on base from the Orioles side. We've seen a couple of just verbal signals just to make sure that nobody's relaying the sign from second.
Here comes the 2-2. Grounded up the middle and through for a base hit. Flaherty is around third. He will score. Runners at first and second. And now it's a 2-run game.
Another one of those sliders that he can't get in the air. Stays on it, drives it back up the middle for an RBI.
Regular season now and postseason for Delman Young, 12 for 22.
Nick Markakis has 3 hits tonight, including a double. David Lowe is the pinch runner at first. He's a former Kansas City Royal and can really run. Strike from Holland. 0-1. How good has this opener been? There's some Baltimore fans who left when Kansas City scored 3 times in the top half of this inning, and they're kicking themselves right now. The home team rallying. 1 run is in here in the 10th. 2 runners on. Ball and a strike to Markakis.
Well, with his 3 hits, obviously Markakis seeing the ball well tonight. But you told the story, Ernie. He missed that postseason in 2012 with that broken hand. Wanted a shot, but he's made the most of it tonight. Can he take it 1 step further?
The Kansas City outfield is playing deep, trying to protect against the double. Tying run at first base. Who can run?
Two balls and 1 strike. You talk about a couple of teams that won't blink. Man alive. On the ground to second, Infante. That's going to do it. The Kansas City Royals have come into Camden Yards and taken Game 1 of the American League Championship Series. 29 years with no playoffs. They've played 5 games and have won them all.
Pretty calm, cool, and collected for this team now to win 4 extra inning games in the same postseason. We talked about it in the open, is that they were going to have to battle this team, not only with the stolen bases, not only with the defense and pitching, but also we're going to have to hit the ball out of the ballpark occasionally. I didn't know it was going to be 3 jacks.
Told you about Eric Hosmer wearing the mic again Always good for some reaction.
Yeah! Let's go! Yeah! Stay hot, baby! Yeah! Stay hot!
Gordon with the home run, the solo, and then Moustakas with the 2-run shot, which was huge as Baltimore does put one on the board in the bottom half of the 10th. 8-6 the final score. Alex Gordon is down there with Matt Weiner.
3 hits, 4 RBIs for Alex Gordon. And we were just talking about the power-hitting Kansas City Royals, right?
Yeah, all you heard about was speed the last couple of days. But, you know, we have it in our tank, and seems like whenever we get to extra innings, we seem to hit home runs, so it's a good thing. 9th
inning, bases loaded, nobody out. You can't push a run across. You come up in the 10th. What's going through your mind?
You know, just trying to get on. I'm trying to get a good pitch to hit and get the inning started. Luckily, I got a good swing on it and put it in the seats. But, you know, they got good guys in the bullpen, so bases loaded, you never know if you're going to get a run. We just got to keep battling, and that's what we did.
O'Day had gotten you to swing at something off speed. The pitch before, I believe, before the home run. What did you see then?
That was just a slider, and you know, he's got great stuff. So, you know, I was trying to sit on a fastball, and if I got it, I was going to try to put a good swing on it. But in the back of my mind, I knew he had that good slider too.
Your 4th extra innings win already of this postseason. You guys have only played 5 games here.
Yeah, I'm getting gray hair already. It's been a long postseason, but you know, as long as we're winning the games, it really doesn't matter. So. We just keep grinding away, and we've got a good mentality on this team. Never give up.
I'm guessing your neck feels better than it did an hour ago.
A little bit, yeah.
Congratulations, EJ.
All right, thank you very much, Matt. Wow, what an opener to this American League Championship Series. And Kansas City fans who are here, again saluting their heroes, the Kansas City Royals, who win this one 8-6 in 10 for Ron Darling, Cal Ripken, Matt Weiner, Mike Bordick, Steve Fiziak, and the whole Hee-Haw gang. I'm Ernie Johnson saying good night from Baltimore. TBS, your home for the 2014 American League postseason. Quick break, and then the postseason show on TBS presented by Mobile One. We'll see you in 15 hours.